Well, hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
What a day.
See, we got a few people in here already waiting.
I know, man. It's unusual. People waiting this. Oh, we were late. That's what it was.
Yeah, true. We was sitting here talking, didn't even realize what time it was.
Yeah, I popped in late as usual. But well, so it appears the swarm that I was having a little while ago, half of it is back in the box and half of it is on the tree. So we'll see what happens. See if they come back.
I'll say maybe you'll get the other half back, but at least you got the first half.
We got the half with the queen. So
that's the best half.
So we'll figure out what to do with the rest of it. Man, look, we got LaGrange, James, Jim, Mike,
Sean, Hillbilly, Grammy.
Man, we got a full house. Well, hey everyone. So hopefully everybody has gotten their packages that were sent out. I know the sign that I sent out may not be there yet, but it should be getting there this week because it was in Colorado and I didn't pay like express shipping on it, so it should be going there. Look, we got Morgan and Brad, Sean. Hey everyone. So I did a thing today.
Uh-oh.
Of course, I left that thing on the counter, and I would have to go get it. So let me go run and get that while I can real quick.
Yeah, I hope everybody had a good weekend. Yeah, mine was a little eventful. I went to try to pull a little bit of honey out of one of my yards that between work, weather, and being out of town I hadn't been to in a couple weeks. I had 7 supers on a couple different hives there, and I was only able to pull one of the supers off that was capped. The other ones that were capped before had done been uncapped, and I think I had a couple of swarm issues. Was that some spicy honey?
Gonna be some hot honey, hopefully.
There you go.
I just got to keep the rotation going here. I got to keep it rotated. But it's got a habanero. It's got jalapeno and what's the other one? It's got another pepper in it that's hotter than it's supposed to be a hot pepper. Serrano pepper.
Serrano.
Yeah, so Serrano. So we'll see how that goes, how it comes out.
Well, it seems like we both doing something a little different rather than just eating straight honey. I got to playing around the other day and started making a little bit of mead.
I got that mead. That mead that Daisy sent me will be open this weekend because my daughter came back from Germany and has been here since Saturday afternoon, and they're going to be here the rest of the week. But they have they actually went to my other daughter's house for a little while, so they will be back. No, I didn't put ghost pepper in it, just habanero and serrano and a little bit of Mike said, what mead yeast did you use? And are you getting it? I bet you it's champagne yeast,
Nope.
not the
It's just
champagne yeast.
Premier Classique Red Star.
That is champagne. No,
No, it's just like a standard wine.
like a wine yeast.
Yeah.
I did bottle up about 48 pints today, and then what else? About I don't know, probably about 20 1-pounders. I had a bunch of 1-pounders, but I didn't have that many pints, so I did 48 pints, and then this gallon over here of hot honey. I'm trying. We'll see how it goes. Mike sent me his recipe, but I didn't use the exact peppers that he used. So
I pulled a little bit of honey this weekend, but I hadn't actually extracted it yet. I got it sitting in my little honey house under a fan. My number 4 yard, I had 7 medium supers on the hives there. I was only
right,
able to pull 1 super off. A couple of the hives had multiple because the last time I went, it was pretty much full and capped, so I added a new super. This time when I
right,
went back, the original had been half uncapped. Between work and weather and being out of town, I think some of them swarmed and took some of my honey with them.
right.
I pulled 1 from that yard and 3 from my number 2 yard. So I got 4 medium supers that are completely full. I just had like 3 frames that wasn't capped all the way. So I put a fan and a dehumidifier on them.
Well, hey, check this out. So Dennis came down, right, and he brought me 2 5-gallon pails of sucrose from the Domino Sugar Factory. He said it's $8 for a 5-gallon pail, 2-to-1 sucrose syrup. I sell a pint for 15 here, and so $8 for a 5-gallon pail. That's a little over $1 a gallon. But to make a 5-gallon pail of 1-to-1 would cost you more than $8.
I hadn't figured it up yet.
Well, you figure 5 gallons, 5 times 8 is 40 pounds, right? Of water. But I always make it like 20 pounds of sugar to 3 gallons of water, which ends up with the displacement ends up being more like close to 5 gallons. So, but a lot of times I will put 25-pound bag into a 5-gallon bucket. And so you're figuring, 12, $14 for 1-to-1, but this is 2-to-1. So you could split it. So it's $4 for a 5-gallon pail of 1-to-1.
Yeah, it ain't bad.
It's just got to drive an hour and a half to get it. But if I had a big tote, if I had one of those big plastic totes, that everybody puts sugar water in. Sean, 20, I don't know, 2021 Formic. If it's like the Apivar, it's got a 2-year good date on it.
I was running through the comments here. Mark B was saying hot in Louisiana. What part of Louisiana are you from, Mark?
Let me see. Jim Hamby. I pulled my first honey Sunday, pulled 3 deep frames, ended up getting 12 half-pint jars and 3 pint jars. That's not bad at all. Not bad at all. I saw Castle pulled a bunch of honey off. Yep. Brian.
Speaking of Castle, he's in the room.
And I've got mine all pulled right now. I just need to go ahead and I think I got most of it. I think I might be able to get a few more bottles out of that. Expiration 2021. I don't know. Anyone know of a dripless honey gate that can be used with a bucket? I don't. I mean, I'm sure you could probably put those one drip valves in there, right? On a regular bucket. You could probably drill it out to couple it up and
You'd have to have some
get it
type of
work.
connection to. I don't know. I hadn't seen one used that way.
Do the honey rotation here. Let the pepper swirl around in the honey. I'll tell you what, those peppers, just from cutting them, like were burning my fingers, burning my skin.
It depends what kind of peppers I'm cutting. If there's something real hot, I'll put latex gloves on.
Yeah, that I didn't think about all that when I was doing it.
You thought about it after, huh?
Yeah, after it started burning, and then after I, scratched my back and started burning my lower back. So we'll see how this goes, and then I'll just run it through the little double strainer, right? Run it back through the double strainer and catch all the particles out of it however long I got to let it sit.
Hey, Morgan, I could probably be in New Orleans probably about 40, 45 minutes or so.
Oh, you have. Oh, you did grow some Carolina Reapers. Oh, man, I apologize. I'll be right back.
Where are you located at, Morgan? Let's see. Yeah, Mike said he told him not to touch. Yeah, Jim, I believe Bob did have some half pint, 8 ounce mason jars of honey. I don't remember what price he was doing on them, though. We'll find out when he gets back. See. I'm going to go ahead and drop that link in here, too. Anybody want to join in on the chat? See. Fan. Yeah, Sharon, I mean, with the dehumidifier, I had to a little bit. I figured they wouldn't completely cap, but I mean, they wouldn't fully uncap. I had about 3 frames that were about half uncapped. So I just wanted to put the fan and dehumidifier on them for a day or two just to make sure. I'd rather be safe than sorry. Yeah, Jim, the only thing I'm selling right now is the 1 pound. I got the 1 pound glass jar and then the 1 pound squeeze bottles. Jim was asking, your half pint jars. What are you selling them for?
My half pints? I don't sell half pints.
I thought you had 8 ounce jars.
These jars right here, I sell for $5. That's half a pound jar.
Yeah, that basically be a half pint. Well, no, because half pint would be like 12 weight ounces.
Yes. So, you're in Newberry. Are you doing a removal in Newberry at a massage parlor by chance? See if they took the Yeah, Rodney's not far from me right now at all. I did a sign for my daughter and son-in-law. So nice little whatever. What do you call it? I don't know what you call it when you do the last name and whatever, but
kind of like the monogram type letter.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Monogram.
I think it's monogram. I know monograms when it's stitched in, but we know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Rodney, if you're they lied to me because I went up there to do a removal at the massage parlor, and they said, "Oh no, they left." Yeah, no, they didn't. Either you killed them or they're still in the wall. So, good job. You must have undercut me on my price.
Hey, Bob, if you look in your chat, Your comment section, I'll put the link in there if you want to pin it to the top.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right, it's pinned up there now. So, if you're at the massage parlor, that's the one that I quoted out a couple months ago, and the lady went out to have a baby. But good job, freebies. If hopefully they're paying you good, because I wasn't gonna do it for nothing. Oh, okay, good. That's a different one then. The tell you what, man, it's been a crazy year because like right now, it doesn't stay dry enough long enough here to like work the bees, right? So it's like not even dry out all the way, and then it's gonna start raining again tonight. There's Mike.
Yeah, we pretty much been getting rain every evening. As soon as we're getting off the work, walking through the parking lot, it'll start drizzling on us.
Yeah, it's been rainy every day, and even today it was like just partly cloudy, right? And now it's going back to raining again till next Wednesday. That's what the 10-day says. It's supposed to be scattered thunderstorms and thunderstorms until next Wednesday. The Texas show up later probably. He usually shows up late. Mike, what's going on?
I wish I had your rain.
Well, I don't mind the rain, but give us, it's like either 1,000,000 degrees outside and dry, or it's raining. It's literally rained almost for a month straight now.
Oh, that much?
Yeah, it's crazy. So
Wow.
they just, so when it does dry up, then we get a swarm like today. Just, it wasn't even really a swarm. It was more of an abscond because they didn't leave anything behind. Luckily, we just caught the queen. Ready?
Oh, Brad.
What's up, Brad? How you doing tonight?
Behave, Eddie Monster.
How you doing? I haven't seen you in a minute.
Oh, I've been down for about a week and a half.
Sick?
COVID?
Well, I hurt my knee, and I had to go get a shot in it. Then I had to get back on some steroids. I can barely walk on it, so I ain't been in the bee yard for about 10 days.
I've walked through mine. That's about it. With the rain, there's not much I can do. And then today it took a little bit of a break, and all of a sudden I had a swarm. So what can you do?
Jim.
But
Hey, Johnny.
Mike, did you see the?
I did. And dear Lord, Bob, I told you not to touch the peppers.
Yeah, well,
He ain't just a little hard headed, is he?
I'm wondering how long does it have to soak? Do you think?
I speed mine up by bringing
Heating
the
it up
honey
a
up
little bit.
to. I'll either leave it at 90 degrees for 48 hours, or I'll do 6 hours at 120.
Well, I'm not in any big hurry to do this, so I figure I'd let it sit in there for a week or two.
Given your temperatures there, that'll do it. That'll do it, but good.
And then just strain the stuff off of it. And
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you can. I honestly, I leave like about 3 peppers in a jar just so people know what they're buying. So
heat,
yeah.
hopefully. Well, I don't know how much the heat will dilute down with the honey, but
and that's really weird because the honey affects the capsaicin in a very odd fashion, and I don't quite understand why or what it does, but it does mitigate it quite a bit. But when you're cutting those peppers up, Lord help you if you have to like blow your nose or take a tinkle.
All right, for sure. Make sure you wash your hands, and that may or may not still be good enough.
See, Brad's down in Cajun country. He knows exactly what I'm talking about, and you guys do too.
That's why I use the latex gloves.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh.
So what's going on in your bee yards, guys?
Well, I pulled about. Can y'all hear me good?
And your TV.
Oh shoot, let me lower that down. I was watching Tucker Carlson.
Oh.
Um, no, I pulled about 12 supers and got them harvested. But after that, I couldn't do any more with my knee, and it got worse after that, so I had to stop. And I got a bunch of hives that are packed and full of honey. So by the time I go back, some of them could be swarmed. I don't know.
So out of your 12 supers, how much you figure you got? 300 pounds?
I got 6.5 5-gallon buckets.
It's pretty good, man. 6.5. That's like almost 400 pounds.
Yeah, but some of those were some deep supers.
Oh, nice.
About 5 of them were deeps, and the rest of them were mediums.
That's great, man. I haven't gotten that much honey this year, but I've gotten about only 4 or 5 gallon pails or so. That's about it. But not a lot.
I probably got about probably anywhere from 20 to 25 more supers I could pull.
How many?
20 or 25.
More supers?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have a crap ton of honey.
Yeah. We got a question down here. The bug man put a box, I guess a homemade box out in the spring and called a swarm and hadn't touched it. He's wondering, is it okay to go ahead and put them into a hive now? I would say, yeah, I would have already had it in a hive.
Yeah.
Unless he's just now getting a hive to move it into.
I'd
Where
have
are
to
you
ask,
located at, Bugman?
what does he have for comb? I mean, is it frameless? Did he put frames in, drop sticks or whatever?
I don't know. Said he caught it in the spring, so if it was foundationless, he might have a mess in there if he hadn't been in it, because they might have built this way instead of that way.
Yeah, a bunch of cross comb.
Oh, he's in South Carolina.
Did you
Bugman,
have
what part of South Carolina are you in, Bugman?
And did you have plastic foundation or frameless or foundationless?
He's probably near me. Well, everything in South Carolina is kind of near me.
But yeah, I mean, as long as he's got foundation in there that's built out or anything, I would have to say he's in Somerville.
Yep, he's down by Charleston, so he's an hour away from me, a little over an hour.
I was about to say, I mean, pretty much anywhere right now, as long as it's good foundation in there and they got resources, I'd say pretty much anywhere you located, you'd have time right now to move them.
Yeah, and if you can, try to put the hive right where the catch box was. So you're not losing foragers. That's the only other thing that I'd throw in there.
Hey, DC. Yeah, so this is the last week. I haven't talked to Scott, Derek. This is the last week for giveaway at this moment. So we'll see. How many people did we end up having in it this week?
I believe it was only 19 this week. Kind of short.
Wow.
List.
Yeah, that was
19.
Short list compared to the rest of them. Well, I guess once you take out the people who actually won that were doing it every week.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, I'll have to get back with them and get them back on the ball. See if we can get some more free stuff to give away.
I see Mike started his honey extractor on a video. Mike Berry?
Mike Berry, yeah. Well, Castle got the same extractor as he does, I think.
Now, I think Brian, I believe, got the 9 frame.
Right.
Yeah, he got the 18.
Yeah, Mike got the 18. I seen he just posted a video a while ago, kind of like a review of it, but I hadn't got to watch it yet.
I saw the review. I didn't see the review Brian did. I saw the review that Mike did on his.
I'm just the opposite. I seen Brian's, but I hadn't got to see Mike's yet. Which Mike just posted his video a while ago.
Yeah, he had Brian has the one with the metal cages, I believe. Like
It
you can
looks
add,
they
you can
look
add.
like they're pretty nice extractors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mike has the one with the I forgot what it's called. It's some kind of plastic frame holders.
Yeah, that's all those extractors have that, I think.
Yeah.
Really? I've never
Mike
seen that
also
plastic.
had. He also showed this that he got from Hilco was a honey separator. It's a can that looks like a bottling tank, but it's small. Like maybe it must like hold like 5 gallons, and it has 2 separators in it, so the honey could be the wax could be filtered out of the honey as it moves through.
No.
Really?
Interesting.
I know that I've seen longer ones that are kind of like our uncapping tables, right? That
Yes.
as the honey drains through, they flow through sections.
Well, this looks
And
just like a stainless steel can with a honey spigot on the bottom, and it has 2 screens inside of it, and the honey flows through one, then it flows through the other one, then it can come out your spigot.
I wonder how those
Wow.
if they plug up or not.
Well, I was just wondering about that.
I don't
What
know.
kind of
He
wobble
would-
you'd end up with there?
He was supposed to try it out, but I never got to that point of the video yet.
That's what I was looking at as far as like filtering it out as it's running the baffle system.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's got 2 baffles in it, but it's a round can, just like a 5-gallon bucket. It looked like.
Okay.
Let's see, Hilco's got that.
Wow.
It must be
So-
something new. Hilco just sent it to him.
I'd really love to see that thing in action. And then Lagrange, Lagrange, what, you got your 30 frame license? Man, I love my 20 frame, brother. I just actually can't imagine anything better. Well, a center drop for the valve, but then that gets in the way, but whatever.
Let's see.
Hey,
Let's try to-
James, see you got your shirt in today. Did you like it?
Trying to see if I could find that over here on Hilco.
Yeah, Bob, I'd really like to see that thing.
Is it it's a stainless bucket?
Yeah, it's stainless.
Oh, is that anything like the Maxent wax separator? Is
Oh,
that an insert that you drop in?
It's a 5-gallon honey filtering bottling tank.
Huh.
Let me see if they got any.
Prices got stretched to dollars. Yeah. DC.
That's really cheap, though. I mean, cheap. Not. I don't know about the quality. I mean, cheap meaning inexpensive. $109 for that. It's got 2 removable screens in it. Actually, I should be sharing my screen and showing you guys instead of
face the entrance.
Well, he's already got that up.
I got you, Bob.
But did you see the other pictures on the side? It shows the baffle system on the inside. There it is.
Yeah, that's what he was using.
So
Wow. Honestly, I don't know about what you guys are thinking there, but I'm looking at that thing as a wobble potential, but badly.
Well, I mean, it's basically the same principle as the 5-gallon bucket with the honey gate on it. It's just got the strainers in between them.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no spinning. There's no spinning. It just sits on the floor, and you put it onto your extractor. Your extractor drains into the top of it. Your honey works through it, and then
when you open the gate up, it's filtered going out of the gate.
Yeah,
basically, it reminds me of like the little double strainers that you can put on the 5-gallon bucket.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. You got your coarse strainer on the back, and then your fine strainer on the front.
See, I would have to run my extractor into that, and then that into my bottling tank, my big bottling tank, right?
Well, it depends. If you're just running a small operation, you could kind of use that as your bottling tank. Just come out of your extractor into here, and then let it come out the front gate and fill your jars up.
That's true. That is pretty neat, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking it was a spinner. No, I'm sorry.
No,
No, it's just like a metal 5-gallon pail with the strainers in it.
Like I say, for the price, it's not bad.
No, not for $100. But the only thing with, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of the gate.
No.
You know, the little lever.
Because if you look at the little double mesh strainers that you buy to go on a 5-gallon bucket, if you get them through Maxan or Daydan or anything, you're looking what
$30.
30 something bucks just for
Mm-hmm.
one. So I
Mhm.
mean, a little
Yeah,
bit more, you got something you can actually hold your honey in.
yeah, and
But
the problem
no,
with those is
what
that they
happens
won't.
if it plugs up going through? Then you got to take them out, which then your whole thing is kind of defiled at that point, right? As long as it
Yeah,
doesn't block up, you're good.
I was about to say, I mean, it should run quite a bit through it before it would block up because it's a filter, looks like the whole height of the container.
hmm And if it's anything like the regular tanks, the wax should rise to the top.
Yeah, should if you let it sit in there. It should. Well, I mean, it's kind of like when you drain the honey in, it's going to come through on the one side and it's going to start going this way through a screen, right?
Mhm.
And if that screen starts backing up, then it's going to raise higher to kind of go over.
Yeah.
So it would work. It's just that, like, once you did 5 gallons, you'd probably have to empty that 5-gallon bucket up, metal bucket out, and then take the filters out, clean them out, and then put them back in and do it again.
Mhm.
Because even those little metal double strainers, they seem to plug up for me with little pieces of wax.
Yeah, they
I'm
will.
right there with you, Bob, and that's why I keep 4 of them on hand.
Yeah, well, that's what Mike was going to do. He was going to use it in conjunction with his regular bucket strainers.
He
Because
was
he has
gonna-
trouble. Yeah.
Well,
Because
I was
he
buying
has
the
trouble
stainless
with him.
steel. Yeah.
What's
I
that?
was buying the stainless steel double mesh strainers. Like you say, they're 30 something bucks a piece. But I can go on Daydant, get the plastic ones that are 400 and 200 micron, and they're $6.95, and they still fit on the top of your 5-gallon bucket.
Do they last?
I've run last year I run 449 pounds through it, and not one problem.
Okay.
and you
Yeah,
use
as
them
long
again
as-
this year too.
Yeah, I'm using them again this year. And like I said, if for some reason they did mess up, they're $6.95. You can order a couple of them.
I just wish they, like, I'm sure they have one, but when you put those strainers on a 5-gallon bucket, you can't put 5 gallons in that bucket because
No, you
It-
can't. I honestly, no, it doesn't work.
Now, what
No.
I've seen people take make a wooden stand that would hold up just above your 5-gallon bucket and put that mesh strainer on there. That way your
Right.
bucket is actually sitting under it.
I seen
Yeah,
a
if
guy
you
with a
got your
video about
extractor
that.
up at a certain height, you can just take a pair of 2x4s and cut notches in them. It works fine. But I've heard some pretty good things about those micron filters, the plastic ones, Lee,
Hmm.
that you're using, and I've never heard anybody say, "No, I broke mine," you know. And doggone well somebody has, but
Yeah, for the
it's-
price. And
Yeah.
all I do to clean them out whenever they do start getting stopped up, I just take my water hose outside and I turn it over and spray it backwards through it. That way I'm not trying to push the wax further in.
Yeah.
blast it on out of there.
Yeah. And you really ain't even got to hit it hard. I've done it in my sink before and just turn the water faucet on and it'll run it out. Now I don't let the
Ooh.
wax. I don't let the wax go down the drain.
Yeah,
I see what you were thinking, Mike. What I do, I put my plug in the sink and I'll run the water through backwards. Well, all that wax is going to float to the top of your water. So I take another little spider spatula and pick my wax up and put that in another container.
In a 5-gallon bucket with a honey gate on it. That's what I used on Sunday.
That's what I was doing last year.
Yeah, I've seen it done. It works.
Matter of fact, I put the 5-gallon. I did run it through the strainer like you're talking about, and then I took another 5-gallon paint strainer and put it in my bucket with the honey gate. So once I poured it over, anything I didn't get still went through another paint strainer before it went into the bottle.
The mouse tray. You know what's ironic is that I was going to ask Jim how the heck he extracted his honey if you crushed it or whatever, but up at our local store here, if you get 2 jars of honey for sale and one of them has a bunch of wax and bits in it, people pay more for it because they go, "Hey, this wasn't filtered." So that's in fact, something I've actually done is I've taken my uncapping tank and before everything settles, and I just grab a bunch of the wax and I put them in 3.5 ounce jars. So it's it looks like it's half wax and half honey, and then settles, the wax comes to the surface. And there's a number of folk that like taking that wax mix honey and putting it in their tea. So that's kind of
they drink the wax too when it melts in the hot tea.
Whatever. Yeah, or smeared on toast. So there's a market for that. I don't like losing the wax, but that's fine. And I wish Tex would come on here because I just ripped off his solar melter. But I did it with 2 metal paint strainers. So one goes into the other one, so it double filters it.
Right.
And so, but I was gonna, when I put the video up, I got to credit him and just,
Well, in another 65 subs, I'll be giving a wax melter away. Just need 65 more.
I thought you already did that, Bob.
No, I bought a solar wax melter, but I'm giving one away as 2,000 sub giveaway.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
So I still need 65 more to get to 2,000, but
very, very nice.
We'll get there eventually.
Don't you lose a lot of honey with the paint strainers, Bob? How would you lose honey?
I don't. I mean, main thing was we were putting a lot of like wax cappings and stuff in them, and then I would take a strainer, and this is how asinine I was. I took the metal double strainer, right, and I was running the honey into the paint strainer that was on top of the
the metal one.
The metal one, and then I was getting this big knot of wax in there, and then I was basically crushing and capturing all of my cappings in there, right? So I was still,
works.
But it was messy as hell.
Oh yeah.
So I like the new system better. Cut it off, let it go in the tray, come back 2 days later, drain the rest of the honey out of the tank when it's run all down.
Yep.
Much better.
It worked pretty good, didn't it?
Yeah, real good. I still need to get my comb needs to get fatter for the uncapper to be better than it is now, but it did work. So I just ended up using the fork a lot.
So Brad, what are you doing for uncapping?
I got a hot knife, and then I also got that looks like a spatula that you can rub along and scrape.
Oh,
I got the kind of
it's got a flat
kind of hang down.
What Bob has right there.
Yep.
Oh, the scratching plane. Yeah.
Yeah, I use that for the frames that are not wide enough, and I use the hot knife for the thick frames.
I got the little metal pick, but then I have a spike roller too.
I got the roller.
I have that roller also.
For whatever my steam uncapper don't catch, then I'll use that.
But I learned my lesson with that roller, because if you go trying to be too aggressive with that roller, all it's going to do is pick up a bunch of wax and rip up your comb and all stick in there.
Mm-hmm.
Just barely hit it, and
it'll make clogging your screens faster.
Oh, really fast. Yeah.
It gets slung out on your extractor.
The roller, I mean, the roller works pretty good, right? So you just can't use a lot of pressure on it.
Yeah.
So
you just barely want to puncture the cappings. You're not trying to dig in.
Let's see. I'm trying to read and talk and everything.
But this is the first year I used that hot knife. I kind of like it. I like it mostly on the medium frames. The deep frames were kind of hard. I guess I just have to get used to it. They were kind of hard to hold because it's not as, I mean, it's as long as the frames are wide, but it's still hard to,
Just barely.
yeah, it just barely fits on there.
The
Yeah, I like the little spike roller. I mean, it works good. All it is a little roller. Got some little plastic spikes that stick out on
about
it,
that
and when it
wide, right?
rolls over,
Mm-hmm.
it punctures the cells.
You know, I tried those things, and they get so muddied up. And the way I got around that was just keeping a really hot bucket of water to put them in. But I like them.
Yeah,
Trying to get wax out of stuff whenever I'm uncapping, I prefer using cold water versus hot water.
You know, a bunch of people have corrected me on that, and yeah, so I got to do that.
Cause
Just
like
for
your strainer, if you hit it with hot water, it's gonna melt that wax a little bit and actually dig deeper into that strainer and hold on even harder. I
yeah,
flip anything over and wash it backwards with cold water, and the wax just falls right out.
I got to do that because I've been using hot water on my screens and everything, and it's a no brainer. What you guys are all talking about, use cold water.
I tried the hot water. I've even tried the little torch. I've seen people take like the torch you use to light your smoker with,
Yeah.
flipping it over backwards and trying to burn it out, and it would still stick in it. Cold water,
Oh,
it come right out.
I never set mine in the solar melter to see if it would heat up enough to drip it off of there. Might have to.
It will. It will.
Probably burn the metal
that
off of it and everything.
what I did for my cappings last year, I was trying to wax some frames, and they were some dirty cappings and stuff like that off of some old wax malt frames and stuff.
Right.
Well, I took that double screen. I have an extra one. I took that double screen, put it over a bucket, and kept stacking. I had a bucket that was cut the size of my screen where I could add a lot of wax in that bucket above that screen. And I have a smoker, and I set that whole get up in that smoker and set the temperature to 150 degrees. And after a day, everything that was up top went through the strainer and went into the bottom. And there wasn't a bit of wax at the top. So, you know, because weight is going to carry it down anyhow. So I said, hey, if it worked like that, let me see if I can clean just the screen. And I did it with just the screen with my regular capping, and sure enough, it all melted off that screen and fell to the bottom. It takes time. That's the only thing.
Right.
It takes at least 24 hours.
Yeah, I've actually looked at my screens there, Brad, and I think I'm going to put those. I have the bucket screens, the double ones, and I'm looking at those things, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, I could put that in my solar melter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, uncapping. I've mentioned this a couple times. I have a thing called a Gregerson and Sons uncapper, made in Minneapolis, I think in 1960. And I need to get it out of the shop just to show people how to do it. It's just such a unique thing that you'll never see one. You absolutely won't. But there's a gentleman that I just love this guy. His name is, I'm going to get this right, Jeff Willard. And this fellow does a lot of really interesting stuff. He researches, you know, different methodologies. And anyways, long story short, he set up a serrated knife, turkey carver, and he's got it on a variable speed foot feed. And I watched him use that thing, and I know other people have had problems with it, and I'm sure it has to do with the blade setup and, you know, speed.
I did. I tried it last year. It didn't work for me.
Thank you. That was you. But I just brought up his video here to see what the heck he was using for and why he did the variable speed, and I can't remember. But honestly, I'm going to do that just because I'm just, I don't know, obsessive or whatever.
Give it a shot.
Yeah. I got to go through his video and find out why he had the multi-speed in there.
But it would work, but when you have the two blades side by side that vibrate,
yeah,
it would clog up and stuff, and it just didn't seem like it wanted to cut the wax for me anyway.
Yeah. So I don't know what what Jeff is using here for and why he has the variable speed, but you watch him do this and it's just drives you nuts. Nothing should be that easy. Um, so oh, and speaking of uncapping, I don't know if you guys ever used a hot plane. Uh, my friend Troy's got one of those things, and I think I might have put a video up of this. I can't remember. I'm looking at that hot plane. It's got burnt wax and honey on it. It's black, and I had to try it. It's delicious.
Oh, right.
Yeah, caramelized honey and wax.
On the
It's
plane.
really it's chewy. I don't know. It's wonderful. So
The yeah, last year it seems like I tried a bunch of stuff, as far as uncapping. It seems like I just ended up giving up on a lot of it and end up, believe it or not, just using a regular dinner fork last year to scrape a lot of the cappings loose. So if you don't want to buy like something like this, you could do it with a dinner fork too. It's a mess. I mean, it's going to be a mess, but you can pop the caps with a fork and it'll work. But
so the only thing that I haven't used is the hot blade that you're using, Brad. I use the picks. I've used the heated plane. I've used the scratch plane that you've got there. I use the just a regular serrated knife, and I don't know, just messing around. But I love to cook.
When you start going up like that, most of those heated knives are $100 and something now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thereabouts. Yeah.
So
for a good one.
Then you go up from there, and you got something like the Simple Harmony, which is like $395, and then you go up the Simple Harmony Uncapper.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one like Bruce's Bees uses, and I think Cayman did a video on it. This white one that you put the frames down in.
Third tales about that too.
A few times. Yeah, Cayman says they used it for about 5 minutes and quit and went back to the way they used to do it.
Yeah, I guess it plugs your screens up really badly. But
and if you need wax, if you use wax, you're not going to get a lot of extra wax.
No, you're not going to get much with it.
So that's the Simple Harmonies right there, and that's about $400. That's like $395.
Really?
For that
is that
thing.
high?
Yeah, which is why I said that's why I went with the Steam Uncapper, because the tabletop Steam Uncapper was about $35 more than that one, and and so since I was getting an uncapping table, I was like, oh, well, if I'm getting the table, I might as well get this as well. And it came down for me. It was either going to be the Simple Harmony or the Steam Uncapper, and I just ended up going with the Steam Uncapper. Thanks to Lee saying how great it was.
I'm trying to get it pulled up now, trying to find it. They've done, I believe, went up on the price of it a little bit more.
Oh, did they? It was $435 when I bought it or something like that.
That's what it is right now, but
it
was less than that when I bought it last year.
Lee was supposed to make another video of him doing a lot of uncapping, but I hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah, I've been supposed to be making a lot of videos, and
you and me both, man.
Between work and weather, and then I've been out of town on a couple weekends. I ain't got nowhere near what I needed to get done this year. Actually, got done.
So the title of the chat here is way off base for No Life Beekeeping.
Yeah,
No Life Beekeeping.
Turns out we all have lives.
Yeah.
Lee's gonna have to chisel that Nikon system out that comb that he put it in.
Probably so.
That cap over top of it, wacky comb around it.
Because I'm actually leaving to go out of town again this Friday and won't be back until Saturday night. I got to go to Texas.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, go help my daughter move back.
I just had
Texas.
Nacogdoches.
Nacogdoches.
Just north of Lufkin.
Oh, okay.
What's the biggest city it's close to?
Probably Lufkin.
Okay, so it's a small town.
Okay, Shreveport, Louisiana.
Yeah.
It's about, I think, an hour and 45 minutes or so southwest.
Okay.
Oh, so it's next to that Trade Days area where they have that big that big flea market. It's a gigantic flea market
Really?
in Canton, I think it is.
That I'm not sure.
Fun time to do bees.
Because that's west. That's west of Shreveport.
Grammy, that's absolutely true.
Hey, yeah, somebody asked me that on Facebook. They're like, do you ever take a break? Well, no, not between the bees and now the laser and YouTube and everything else. No, not really. Don't really get much time for a break. But you know, I look at it like this: any other farmer during their seasons, they're busy too. You know, they get up at before sun up, right? And they're out there doing their thing, and they come back when the work is done. That's pretty much how I do it. So,
Brad, Canton, Texas is northwest of Nacogdoches.
Okay.
look what Fermana said to you, Brad. Brad, can you ask the staff to be quiet?
The staff.
The staff. I don't know if he's talking about us or
The workers.
The workers. That's funny.
Oh man, I love it. Leave it to Phil to do that out.
As Barney.
But yeah, this year people are saying, well, why aren't you making more videos? It's been raining every day. There's no videos to be made, when it's raining.
Yeah.
So
I think I seen Mike get confused just a second ago when I said Barney.
You did.
You got Fred sitting next to you on the screen, and then you got Barney. Fred and Barney.
Sorry. It started out early here today. We're cutting a whole crap load of oak logs, and I'm sorry guys, I'm a little punchy.
No problem.
But bees baking and canning are for filling. I think that's the truth.
I'm in Hopkins, Bugman, right outside of Columbia, the other side of Columbia from Lexington. 13 pints of spaghetti sauce and dehydrated the skins and pulp to make tomato powder. Wow. Yeah, you have been busy.
How about that?
Wow.
I never thought about that. With dehydrating the skins.
Dehydrate the skins and pulp to make. Really interesting.
I would have never thought about that. I might have to try it.
Wow. Say, here's an off question for you guys. Has anybody? I don't want to open up a topic here. Does anybody ever canned fish?
I haven't.
I can honestly say I never have.
Yeah,
I've heard of
up
canned
in
pork
Minnesota, we
chop.
make a lot of pickled northern, and it's delicious if you like pickled herring or whatever. But we've got an abundance of bullheads in this. I love bullheads, and a friend of mine said, "Rhonda, you've canned fish? What fish? What fish you canned? I've relatives that can salmon and whatnot in Canada and Alaska, but
She's in Florida, so it could be anything.
oh, I'm sorry, Rhonda. I completely forgot where you are.
Grammy's canned mullet.
Grammy,
Mullet,
thinking
yeah,
about
mullet.
Grammy,
Okay.
thinking about canning. I mean, I'm sure you're probably familiar with the All-American canners. Do you know the decent price on the All-American 930? Let me know if you know that one.
Salmon, pike, mullet. Morgan does canned deer meat. A lot of our hunters on the peninsula here, they do a lot of canned venison. A lot. Canned almost everything but fish. Yeah. Well, hey, there's always $700. Is that
Watch this, Grammy.
okay? Yeah, I want to see that.
He must have one.
Lee, that's substantial. Wow.
Yeah, you know how much that cost me? Nothing.
Because your niece gave it to you for ordering the straw making machine.
Nah. I had a old family friend that's getting older, and she's finished with her work of canning. She gave me her canner, another water bath canner, all of her jars, recipe books,
Oh,
everything.
bless her.
Gave it to me.
That's wonderful.
I don't get stuff given to me like that.
Better
Not
watch
that
out.
I mean, not that I use it.
Some old lady might go put a hit on you.
Right.
Actually, I'll probably be using that
Take
one.
him out and steal the canner.
I went into a guy's house once, and we're doing some work there, and he had a shelf along that ran all around his garage wall, and it was full of nothing but pressure cookers.
Really?
The guy, as a hobby collector, pressure cookers. Just looking back on it now, that's a lot of money. I had no idea $700 for one of those things. So
Yep. I looked it up on Amazon, and usually Amazon, I mean, you got decent prices. I found one the other day was $7.99, and another one on there was wanting $8.99.
okay,
You could probably tap it and make a still out of it, right? That one, the big
I'm
one.
sure you could.
yeah.
I don't think I'd want
Actually,
Talk to
I hate
Ty. I
telling
bet
you
you he
this, Bob.
knows.
Yeah.
That's how I made my still.
Tap it and tap it out. Use some rolled copper tubing.
I was about to say, I think I would get a less expensive one if I was going to tap it out, though.
Just buy an extra lid. Tap the lid.
No, I didn't. I actually have a dome stainless steel. It was my favorite popcorn bowl, and it happened to fit just perfect over the top inside the lid. So,
Speaking of popcorn, I haven't seen Charlie tonight.
yeah,
I actually talked to him last night. He called me. I think we was on the phone an hour and a half.
really.
He said he was going to call me when I was live, but he didn't call me. He must have called you instead.
Well, he was getting a little information on that computer that I bought. I think he's going to go ahead and bite the bullet and get it.
No, what was that, Lee?
A new computer?
The new computer that I bought a month or two back.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's looking at getting one.
Yeah, I have 2 Prestos and the big one. That's a little can, a half
It was
gallon.
like an hour and 45 minutes we were on the phone.
There's stuff that I want to do. I just don't have time to do. I mean, I'm sure I could make time, but it's like I've already got enough hobbies, So my nephew's got some Reaper peppers growing and stuff. So I don't know if we're going to try to do some hot sauce or what we're going to try to do with those, but we're going to. Now I got me some hot honey, a little sample gallon to try out. See how they come out with habaneros and serranos, and
see how the heat stacks up to Spanky's hot honey.
Now, how many ounces of peppers did you put in there? Do you have any idea?
All together, about 10 ounces
in that one jar.
Mm-hmm.
It might be hotter than Spanky's.
It's got like 4 whole habaneros and like 6 serranos and 1 jalapeno diced up.
Sounds good.
Put in there. So we'll see.
Sure whatever you do is going to be tasty there, Bob. Look forward to hearing about it.
We don't know. I don't know. You have no say. We don't. We will find out. It's the experiment, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
So I'm just gonna bottle it up in 1 pound jars and put a sticker on it, hot.
Yeah, well, order you some more lids with the red lid on it.
The red lids. I'm gonna have to. Believe it or not, I'm already gonna have to order another box of honey 1 pound bottles. I've got very few 1 pounders left.
You go through them quicker than you think you do.
Do you use the same labels for both bottles?
For what? 1 pounders?
1 pounders or your other? Do you have any 2 pounders?
I don't have any 2 pounders. I've just got the. I usually go. I've got the $5 like half pint or half pound jar. I've got the 1 pound jar. I use a 1 pound or a pint mason jar and a quart, but I don't do that many quarts. So
I was watching Bruce's video of them extracting, and at the end he gave just about everybody I seen it left with some honey, and it was some giant bottles. They looked like 2 pound bottles.
Or they look like a half-gallon milk jug.
No, it was just a tall bottle.
Quart jar.
They do make a 2-pound squeeze bottle.
Mhm.
I know Gamber Container sells them.
Lisa's in the chat. She may know. She was there helping Bruce and them.
And the I don't know. I print all my labels on my computer. So
Okay.
like
What kind,
I know,
what kind of
use,
printer do you have?
I just have a Canon all-in-one printer with the scanner, and it's just an inkjet printer. If you've got an inkjet printer, you can print your own labels for about 11.5 cents a piece.
Well, what kind of software do you have to like print it on those labels?
Good night, Phil.
You don't.
Hey, enjoy the golf game.
You don't have to have any, because you can go to Avery.com and use you put in the number of the label you're going to use, right?
Uh-huh.
And then you open up the template and you just basically put the background in, put the lettering on and the text, and done, print.
Yeah, we got Grammy down here in the weed room.
I'm doing the same thing.
You coming out? Come on. Sorry, my dog thinks he's going inside. Sorry.
And I use the same labels on the 1 pound, half pound jars, and if I do quarts, the 2 pounders, then I put them on there too. So I do make labels for the 3.5 ounce. But
I use.
Hey, Grammy, how are you doing there?
Sorry, my dog's going crazy. All the typing was like wearing out my fingers.
So you can get these from Amazon, but
yeah, thank you.
I use these.
Yeah,
Avery 22-820. They're 2" by 3 1/3 glossy white oval labels.
okay.
And
and those look nice. I like those, and I like Lee's, the transparent ones. I mean, they're wonderful.
Avery also sells a transparent
Thank you,
label
Lee.
as
Every
well.
time I see that, it makes me angry.
I just had to order more yesterday.
I think I've got all my bottles that have the transparent label outside in the truck, but other than the one that I lasered in. But this is the actual printed label from the Avery website that I just downloaded the image and put it into my laser software, and I lasered it into the jar.
You did?
That is beautiful.
Yeah, that's lasered
How
on
long
there.
did that take?
This quart jar took like 15 minutes on this quart, though.
Interesting. Really, really interesting.
Nice.
So
you have one of your bottles with the regular label on it?
yeah, let me grab it real quick.
Nah, Morgan, I don't print them myself. I designed them in Photoshop. I have a Better Be print them for me.
Better Be. That's who it is. I got to grab something here, guys. I'll be right back.
Now, I was making me a label on Canva.
Mm.
Can I download that label and put it in some site like what you use, or?
Yeah, you should be able to download the image and then go, like Bob said,
Yeah.
if you're using the Avery papers, just go to their website and type in what paper you're using and then put that image into their software and they'll print out.
Oh, okay. Well, how do you pay them? Is there a fee for using their site?
Nope. It's
Oh,
all
really?
free because you've already bought the paper from them. So
okay.
that's where they're making their money.
Oh. Hey, make that. Oh, okay. That's the oval one.
This is the oval one, yeah.
And how big is that one?
This was
2 inch by 3 1/3.
Yep.
2 by 3 1/3.
2 by 3 1/3. If you order, you can order the labels off of Avery.com or Staples or places like that, but they're typically more expensive. When I order them off of Amazon, I get them for like $11 a piece. Hold on, let me see if I can find them, and I'll share a link for it.
Hey, Lee, how much are your labels costing you a piece when you do it, then?
Let me see.
You told us before, and I don't remember. Sorry.
Okay, I lied. 14 cents a piece.
Okay.
Well, that's still not bad.
It's not bad.
Now it would be a little cheaper if I actually ordered more stuff with it, so I was paying shipping on just the labels.
Yeah.
But for 250 labels is actually only $26 for the labels, but then I'm
Okay.
paying 17 for shipping.
So that's $40 for 250, right?
Yeah, 48.22
So it comes on a roll or on a sheet.
on a roll.
Okay.
The I put that link in the chat. So, but what he didn't tell you is the very first time he sent it, he had to pay $50 for him to set up his artwork on the machine.
Yeah. Yeah, your first time it's a $50 setup fee, but then it comes on a roll.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay. Yeah. So they're about 6 cents a piece.
But you can get them printed in different colors. These are black, so whenever I have the real light honey, I
Mm-hmm.
put black labels on it, and then when the honey starts getting darker, I have white labels.
Really? Yeah. No, that just makes complete sense. I love that. I actually might go that route. There's just something about the transparent labels that I think is just really neat.
So $40 divided by 250 is about 16 cents a piece.
Yeah.
16?
Mm-hmm.
Now, like I said, the actual labels were only like $27. So
Yeah.
if I was ordering some other supplies and this and that, I mean, yeah, you're still going to pay shipping, but I mean, you would be getting some other items. It'll kind of
So
work out.
pretty much everybody here lives
Thank you,
next
Earl.
to, lives in a city that has got a print shop somewhere around, and you might approach them too and see how they do that. And for instance, I forget what it's like, Office Depot or whatever, they'll print those things out for you too.
Yeah,
So
Office Depot does a lot of custom printing.
yeah, you got a lot of different options up there, folks. But and laser
Well,
etching, that's not going to affect the durability of the jar. It's kind of like a sandy. It's really minimum.
Yeah.
Well, I
It's
kind of
going to
like what
affect it a little bit, but not much.
I kind of like
I
what
like-
Bob's doing because, I mean, you can change your own design right there and print it right out there in your house.
Yep.
yeah. And
Yeah,
I mean,
that's-
I use the same label, so I can make a nutrition label for the back if you have to have one in your state, or if you don't have to have one, you can do that as well. But the thing is, some people don't need 250 labels, right? Some people only
Yeah.
need a dozen labels, or however much they need. So buy one of those.
I've went through several rolls of them since last year.
Well, yeah, but you got a little bit bigger.
Well,
gig
I
going on.
pulled I pulled
buy in bulk.
449
As long as you
pounds
don't think you're going to
myself.
go out of the honey business in the next, like 3 years, go ahead and buy them.
Yeah.
And silver he buys from a print shop. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I just did it because it was something that I could do quick, and I did them as I needed them. And
Well, Lee, after you, let's say you decide to change your label, do you have to pay them another $50 setup fee?
That I'm not sure. I haven't changed it yet.
let me get my black magic 8-ball out.
But I wouldn't be surprised if
Sign say
make
yes.
you pay again to change everything, because I mean they're having to reset it up in their computer, trace everything out. I mean that might be a question I can call and ask them.
Sign say yes. I guarantee if you're changing it, you're gonna have to reset up again.
Let's see.
It probably depends on how much you're changing of it.
Possibly.
Lisa, I was thinking the same thing too. Are you going to do variables or?
But now here's the thing: is Better Be actually doing that, or are they outsourcing it to somebody?
From what they were telling me, they print it in house because whenever I do a reorder, it asks, "Do you want a sample?" So or like a proof label of it, and I always say yeah because I want to make sure they had the right one. Because I did have 12-inch labels with them too.
So you
So what
actually
they
might
do,
need.
they'll send you an email with the label on a piece of paper that they've scanned in to verify that's the correct label you want, color and everything, and you just send on the email back saying approved, and then they print it out and ship them to you.
So, and at least in Minnesota here, we have to put how many ounces are in there.
Yeah.
And so when I printed my labels out, it says ounces, and then there's just a blank line there, and I actually hand write, the ounces in.
You have to
But,
put ounces, so you have to do like 16 ounces, or 'cause
yeah,
mine. I
that's
said 1 pound or 400 and whatever something grams.
yeah.
Let me see if I can
So,
pull this up.
but I don't know, Lee. I just think those clear labels are just, I don't know.
They're classy.
Because, like, as far as our regulations here, you either have to have pounds or ounces. I can have 16 ounces or 1 pound, either one I
Okay,
want.
there you go.
But I also have to have a slash or dash and then grams. So I have to have 454 grams also.
And the proof.
Lee, what are those? Can you see the print on those really good on your honey? I mean, do you have a jar? Okay, those are in white,
Yes, ma'am.
but the black labels that you had,
You do that on the clear
do
honey.
they show up good?
I got
Yeah,
another
mine's not
jar
that
here.
light.
I got another jar here. I'll just stick a label on for you.
Oh, there's 16 cents.
Hey, come on, Joe. Come on,
Oh, well.
come on up.
It's worth it.
He'll sell it tomorrow.
No, that's one I sit on my desk and eat.
See, if you did what Bob did, it'd been
You
14
can still see it
cents.
pretty good.
Yeah,
Let's see,
yeah.
bring it up a little bit bigger here.
I like
Well,
that.
I like the white better, but yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, that does work. But you got a good thing going in there. And I've got all the honey that we get here out of the forest is so doggone dark. I'd go with the white too.
Yeah.
So,
Let's see.
Now,
Let's
Mike,
see yours again, Bob.
you can buy clear labels from Avery as well.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I and I just haven't looked
Yeah.
into it because I have so many of these labels that I've got right now that I need to do that. And I really like that.
I made this myself, so I designed it.
That looks good. I like that, Bob.
It's
Who
not
did
I
that
like
for
that
you?
too.
I did it.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
You got the little
Yeah, I did. I wish I did. You saw the ones I did for Hard Luck Survival, right? I don't have.
You showed that, and that looks nice. I like that.
So, it gives you options if somebody wants a case or whatever, and you can make them their own special label. It takes you 5 minutes.
Now,
It's really nothing to it.
I was asking Lee while you was out. He said you didn't have to pay Avery anything. You just have to buy the labels from them.
Right. So I buy my labels off of Amazon for what was it, $11 or something. What was it? They got them for $11.20. You get 80 labels.
Okay.
So they say it's 14 cents a piece. So I guess their math is correct. And then you just go to here. I'll share my screen and show you what you got to do. It's pretty simple. If I can find my share screen button. So you go to share screen. Which one? I'll share this screen so it'll look all whacked out for a minute.
While you're doing that, I'm going to bring up you already got it up. Ooh.
There you go. And then I'll just go Avery.com, right?
Oh.
And whenever it decides it wants to pop up, you can go to your products, or where's it at? In your custom printing templates. There you go. Find a template. So I'm using what I say 22820, right? 22820. There you go. 2 by 3 1/3. Click on it. We'll start designing. And then it gives you a bunch of random backgrounds that you can pick from and just change the text or whatever. I just go to select, the blank one. And
Sharon, that's what I did. I bought my Avery labels at Office Depot.
Yeah, but at Office Depot, they're like $19 a piece, or Staples was anyway, $19 a pack.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to charge you a
Office
little
Depot
more.
was going out of business here, so I bought them all and got them 10 cents on the dollar. Said lucky. Say DC's got a really fantastic note there. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's a bloody good point.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. That makes sense, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Well,
Bob, you were talking about the labels.
I know a guy that's got it. Yeah, they're there.
There's a label for Hard Luck you made.
Oh, that's lovely. What a great thing.
Well, he bought a case of them, so I spent 10 minutes printing a label I was going to print on there with. It still had my logo on it, but it was something special for them, right? So
Yeah.
it was pretty interesting.
Quill. What the heck is quill? Dennis Barney says try a quill.
Try Quill.
I'm willing to bet it's a print service or something.
About the
Take
only
care,
quill I
Casey.
know
God
of is you
bless.
write with.
Quill.com, official site, free gifts with order. Oh, it's like an office supply place. Yeah. Let me see.
Okay.
Yeah.
They probably got
Yeah.
Avery labels, right? Yeah, they've got Avery labels.
3
Any
pound jars?
any of y'all sell 3 pound?
I just do quart for my
That is-
biggest one.
A
Well,
quart
quart
is
is-
3
Isn't that a
pounds.
quart?
Yep,
Is that 3 pounds or is that 4 pounds?
3.
3 pounds.
Okay.
Only thing I'm selling right now is just a 1 pound. I got 1 pound glass or 1 pound plastic squeeze.
1 pound and then 8 ounces here. And then for the ghost pepper honey, I had a lot of requests for the 3.5 ounce little jelly jar. But otherwise, it's all 8 ounce and 16 ounce. I did a bunch of them in quarts, and I just keep them on hand for special orders. But no, there's not a market here for me for that as far as like a real major thing.
I
So-
do. When I get my batch, I might do 2 quarts. And usually the quarts have cut comb in them, like chunk comb.
Yeah.
And that's what they get. If they want to get chunk comb, like I sold Blythewood Bee Company one, Scott, $40. $40.
Good. Dennis
Three-
says my wife is the office manager. She gets them there. Dennis, you in like Flynn, man. That's great.
That's
Nice to have a hookup.
Amen.
Oh, speaking of a hookup, oh my God. When Dennis came to my house today, he brought me 10 gallons of sucrose
Oh yeah, you mentioned that earlier.
from the Domino Sugar Company up in Charlotte. 5-gallon pail of 2 to 1, $8.
Oh, wow.
You pay that much for the bucket.
I know, but he took a free pickle bucket up there and they filled it up for $8.
Oh, okay. I got
Cool.
you.
That ain't
So, yeah, I mean, you figure that's, 10 gallons of 1 to 1 for $8 if you split it in half, right?
Yeah.
And you can't make that you can't make it for $4. You can't make a 5-gallon pail for $4.
And where was this at
1-to-1?
again?
No, not at all.
The Domino Sugar Company. So, and it's only like an hour, a little over an hour each way for me. So I'm probably going to load up 10, 25-gallon buckets and just load them down with. It'd be worth it to make the trip. I mean,
Shop, I guess stuff was a 5-pound jar that I almost bought. So I think DC and Michael Apple have got. I think you guys could combine your ideas there. I like the idea of a 5-pound square jar that would be etched, and I'd sell it for $45.
if you have the market to sell,
It'd be really, really limited, obviously, but
be more, I guess, a specialty or
yeah.
the
Usually when they go by the gallon or more, it's to like a restaurant or something.
yeah.
and
The
then they
only
want
the
discount.
only gallons of honey I've sold 2 gallons to one guy at the same time because he was making mead out of it. He wanted a gallon of the light honey and a gallon of the dark honey.
Oh
He
yeah,
was
Troy
making mead
gets
to
that.
see what the difference was.
Yeah, my friend Troy gets that quite a bit. Somebody calls up and says, "Hey, I need 5 gallons or whatever," and but I think that there's if I had the laser etcher, I would definitely do some unique bottles and
I was going to do mine today. I did 4 cases of pints. I was looking for smooth pints, and they didn't have any that I could find. So I ended up having to get regular ball mason jars with the writing and everything on them. So that went out the window.
You can order them off of, the Walmart website. You can't buy them in Walmart, but you can order them off the Walmart website, smooth jars, and they're cheap.
Okay.
I got
All
some
right.
in my storage.
Of course, of course. Well, I was thinking about the square jars that they were.
I know, like Michael's has those like square mason jars, pint mason jars,
Do they?
but I don't need it. It doesn't even have to be square here. I've got the tool the rotary to do round things. You know.
So I ran into a talk on the National Honey Show about it was based in the United States. I'm brought this up to you guys before, but it was a survey of how much more people would be willing to pay according to the shape and size of the bottle. And the highest premium was like a five-sided glass bottle, and I think it was maybe only about 8 ounces, but it had a cork on the top.
Oh, like the
And
Muth.
people were willing to pay through the nose for that. It was amazing. But
Hmm.
otherwise, the other jar that always got a premium was the classic honey jar.
Hmm.
Always
Well,
had a premium for that.
the funny thing about that is, I mean, yeah, I understand if you've got, let's say, a storefront and you have a nice display and you can
Yeah.
display several different kinds. I'm selling off the back of my pickup truck. Nobody's going to pay me extra because it's in a pretty glass, you know.
No, exactly.
But
You never know. I mean, you can throw one out there. Just try it.
now, however, if somebody wanted like a wedding party type of gift set thing, yeah, I could I could etch a bunch of jars and be like, here you go, you know.
Who the heck
I'll
was
do
that?
some of those pretty skep jars.
Yeah,
Oh, the glass ones.
Yeah, the glass skep jars, those would be pretty.
yeah. I'm sorry. That's what I meant by the classic honey.
Hmm.
Now, I like
Yeah.
the ones that Bruce does. Also, the glass
Muth.
smooth one's got
The
the
Muth.
cork in the top, and then he wax tips the top of them.
Those are expensive though, those jars.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, are they willing to pay extra because of the jar? I mean, because you figure if you're
Yeah,
selling one
yeah, it was
pound
the
of honey and the jar is $3
No,
or
it was the
something, you know,
jar.
it's crazy.
Now, don't quote me. I
Had to do
think
with the container. That's all it was.
don't quote me, but I think Bruce was saying those fancier bottles that he wax tips he sells in like some kind of steakhouse or winery or something around him. I think it was a steakhouse.
That would be really clever. I like that idea. I dip them in red. Dip the lid or whatever in red wax.
He
What's
just
Rhonda
dips
got
it in the
going on here?
beeswax.
Clear glass jars for meal prep, food storage, 20 labels. Oh, okay. Well, that's cool
Muth
too.
jars.
I give them a return of $2 a jar. Hey, you can do that. You know what's really weird to me? Well, I don't know. That's a Minnesota thing, but I mean, I have so many people that buy our honey here, and they show up on my doorstep and return the jars.
Hey,
I've had people do
I
that
had-
too.
Yeah.
I used to take the person that I bought honey from before I got bees. I would take her quart jars and she'd give me $1 off of the honey.
There you go.
Hmm.
Well, if you think about it, she's still making the same profit.
Yep.
Yeah, because
She's just not having it. She doesn't have to pay for the jars.
Yeah,
Take
the
a
jar, the
5-gallon bucket and
label,
fill
or
empty
anything
jars
else.
out of the back of your pickup truck. Hey, that's kind of clever.
Do what?
5-gallon bucket and fill their empty jars out of the back of your pickup truck.
I could do it for sure. Well,
Mhm.
maybe not now because I just bottled a crap ton of honey today. So
Well, if you're in bulk, I mean, if you got just ridiculous. Yeah, okay, so if you're one of these guys that actually doesn't, like my friend Troy, everything goes in barrels. That's how much honey he does, and he could get away with doing that, but honestly, no.
well, that is a good idea, though. I mean, because they don't necessarily have to bring a mason jar. They might come up and say, "Hey, I just want half a pound worth or something like at a deli," and you're like, "All right, it's going to be $5. You just weigh it and do it that way, right?"
Yeah.
But then you got to worry about wasting it on the ground too outside,
Yeah, well,
and a million bees from my apiary attacking us
Oh,
while I'm
that's
at the back of my pickup truck.
Mhm.
William just got off a plane.
Yeah, he's
I
probably
did not
traveling
know
for
they had a
work.
direct flight to Gitmo there, buddy.
About the easy.
Hey, I've been there. I've been to Gitmo. Been to Gitmo. That was the loneliest place in the world.
Is it?
Well, it's only a military base,
No.
and you can't leave the military base. You're just stuck right there. So they did have a cool outdoor theater, though, so that was pretty neat.
I like that.
All right, so hey, it's time for a giveaway.
Oh, okay. I'll give away a TV remote here for my. Sorry.
I don't need any more of those.
All right, this is for the top high feeder, either a 5, a 8, or a 10, guys. So if you win, just email me your information, and I'll get that in the right hand so it can get mailed out to you. And Saracel feeder from the Blythewood Bee Company.
Let me get this window pulled up.
We're actually 30 minutes behind schedule on that.
Yeah, normally we do it about an hour in. Yeah, we only had 19 names on the list this week.
Yeah. Oh, and we got 2 blank
Dang.
spots.
2 blank.
There's 2 blank spots over there.
I didn't see that.
Ooh, William. Good show.
I don't know why it keeps on throwing a blank area somewhere in these things for me, and I don't know why. I haven't been able to figure it out.
I'll be red. You can be yellow. Just kidding. If it lands on an empty space, we'll just respin till we get a winner.
Hey, my mind is blank.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, let's see who wins. Da, da, da. It is. Look at that. Galloway.
Really?
Galloway Lights.
Congratulations, Galloway.
Is he watching even? Is he here?
I don't think I've seen him in the comments yet.
No, not yet.
Well, if nobody tells him and he doesn't send us an email by Friday, we'll give it away again next week. I'm sure he'll see it. I think he might watch it after the fact or something.
Oh,
I think he normally always comments on it.
So I got a funny one here for you guys because I'm not certain what the hell's going on. But I have these 6-frame nukes on a pallet out back, and I just pulled them out of storage. They have drawn comb in them, just sitting out there, and I'm looking at one of them, and there's bees coming in and out of the doggone thing.
Swarm done moved in.
And I opened up the lid wasn't sitting on it tight, and they were going in the top. And I just opened it up. I just finished, shaking bees and whatnot for 2 hours, and I didn't want to deal with it. But I opened up the top, and they seem to be hanging on one frame in there. So it was just, I'll go through there tomorrow and find out what's going on. But it was just,
you might get micro swarm.
You guys all had bees move into random equipment that you just had sitting around. That's funny. I just love it. So we don't even put up a swarm trap. We just have a box sitting out. I'm like, okay.
Well, the funny thing is they'll leave their already established colony that they've been in for a year. They will leave that and move to something where they have to rebuild the whole damn thing, and nothing left behind for some reason. It doesn't make any sense.
Angry teenagers.
Yep.
I was about to say, in Bob's case, they'll leave, fly into your 5-frame nuke, and then fly back out.
That's too true, Lisa. That's just crazy.
Now, Spanky called me yesterday. He was having that problem. He was trying to find a queen because he couldn't find her. He had 2 queen cells in the hive, but the bees flew out and landed in a 2-frame nuke. And then he finally found a queen.
My 2-frame nukes are not doing well through this rain. This rain is really putting a hurt on them.
Bob, I was really kind of wondering about that.
It is laying the smackdown on them because they're not able to get out and forage.
Yeah.
And which they don't have that much of a forage crew to begin with, so they're not able to really build up their stores to be able to stay in for a long time. I've got 30, but not all 30 of them have ever had bees in them. Only about 20 of them had bees in them. So right now, actually, probably 15 of them have bees in them, if that much.
Make sure you're checking the bottom boards of them.
All
That'll be
right.
a sign. Any kind of larva or anything you see on the bottom, that'll give you a sign. They're too weak or
Oh,
whatnot.
great
Hive
point,
beetles.
Brad.
Because if that bottom looks a little bit of moisture on it, you got something going on.
I have to,
Because
and I
I have them 3-framers, and I'll go through them, and the ones that are doing great, the bottom boards will be perfectly dry. The ones that are starting to let a hive beetle move in or something going on, it starts to get trash and liquid on the bottom.
Yeah, I've got a couple of those. I know I got one of them that got wax mopped out because I could see it on the landing board today.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, ain't even no need to look in there. I know there's no bees left in there because it just got, you could see the wax moth remnants on the landing board. So it's just the rain. They can't do anything. They're staying in the house. They eat in stores, and if they don't have that many stores, then like today, the abscond. But the funny thing was, we were sitting there talking. Dennis Lentz and I were standing there talking. I said, "Look at that! They're swarming." He's like, "What do you mean?" Well, you can see they're walking up the front. They're all walking up like in perfect formation, walking up the front and just starting to take off. I'm like, if it was a orientation flight, they'd be flying into the front, right? Or coming out and doing their figure eights. But they were
Yeah.
walking straight up the front and taking off. I'm like, that's a swarm. And then we walked over to it, and he's like, "Oh, look, there's the queen." She took off, and he went whap and grabbed her. I handed him. Yeah, he grabbed her out of the air,
Dang.
and we put her in
Oh,
a.
wow.
I said, "Here's the cage. Put her in there. I'll go get a piece of fondant so we can plug the hole." And we trapped her in, but I still had bees on the tree, but I had the queen in the box and a lot of bees going in. So it's kind of weird.
Sorry.
What's the take on frame feeders versus bucket feeder? I think it's mixed reviews. A lot of people like the buckets, and Cayman uses frame feeders. I've got a frame feeder. I've got top hive feeders.
I was using the frame feeders, but I was just finding I was having too many drowned in it, so I swapped to the bucket feeders.
Now, see, I've had some people say
Even
they
if
won't, and some people say that. I've always had pretty good drowning in mine as well.
even if I put a couple of little sticks in there or put some leaves or pine straw, I still found, quite a bit of drowning. Now, yeah, I guess if I just put a whole handful of pine straw and completely covered the top,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have it. But
I've got the ladder feeders in mine. I don't have the round ladders like Man Lake. I got the mother load ones.
Yeah, that's what I got.
But they still
Or had.
So it's really interesting you should bring that up, Lee, because I've always used the Man Lake cap and ladder, and I loved it. And Troy said to me, he said, "I don't like those because every now and then you'll have a hive that they just drown." And I believe it's not too long ago, Cayman was talking about it. He said, "Yeah, when that happens, there's something wrong with that hive." He said that's a good reason for me to all of a sudden just run through that hive. So in doing this for 7 years in frame feeders and whatnot, I've only had that happen once, and I don't know why. If that hive was starving, or I don't know. Don't have an answer for you there. I'm doing both. What's
He
that?
also said that he also said you shouldn't use a frame feeder when you're installing a new hive, like a nuke or a package, because they don't know their surrounding yet, and they go all into the hive feeder, and they could ball up in there, and it causes a lot of drowning.
Okay. Well, Brad, this was an installed nuke that happened to, so that's a really good point.
Yeah, this was my other thing. DC saying the frame feeder takes up space in there too. You lose a frame, and some feeders you lose 2 frames.
Yeah. So I actually use all 4 feeders. I use a frame feeder. I've got bucket, and I use the entrance feeder. And somebody was asking, how do you get water to your bees? The last time I was on here, you go ahead and use a Boardman in the entrance feeder and just fill full of water. If your bees are heat stressed, if they've no water around,
or you can shoot them with a water gun.
Oh yeah, I couldn't help myself there. I'm sorry. That was just. I'm just sitting there with a squirt. I was training a kitten. That's why I had the squirt gun. Anyways, yeah, I couldn't help it. Thanks, Brad. But the other thing I use is the 2 gallon top trough that Man Lake sells,
Mm-hmm.
and I use that for drawing comb out. And I just dump a whole crap load of it, just a short of 1-to-1, and put a stack of empty frames on, boxes and honey supers, and let them suck that down. And so it's a personal preference. The only thing I don't like about buckets, that I really don't like about buckets, is if you have a pretty hard temperature swing, and you can end up getting those things flooded. So all the
Well,
buckets that I have are not dead center; they're actually forward by about a third.
well, let me
So if
tell you
they
what
do
else could
flood them up,
happen.
what's that?
A bucket feeder can also, if you got a raccoon around your place, he will knock that
Oh
bucket.
yeah,
He will knock
yeah,
that bucket off, and then
yeah,
your bees are exposed to the weather if it rains that night.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because
And
he
so
will.
he can reach his little paw down there and grab out bees too, right?
Hey,
Well, not that. He tries to get into the bucket. A raccoon will,
Yeah.
yeah,
and he knocks it out. Then you got a hole in the top of your hive, and it can rain or whatnot until you catch it.
Right.
yeah,
Now,
You know,
now,
a skunk will eat your bees. He'll go there and just pick them off the front.
really.
But a raccoon wants the sugar water, and he smells it. He moves that bucket out the way. I think that's why
Oh,
a
no
lot of the
kidding.
commercial guys use the frame feeder because it's something, one less thing they have to worry about.
true.
Yeah, and
You
that
know,
makes a
now
lot of sense.
Ian even had a video where he don't usually have a lot of problem up in Canada, but he had a couple of raccoons that were just knocking all his buckets off, and it causes ice water to get in his hives because
Yeah.
if it gets a cold night, it freezes. So
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
the buckets are nice, but if you have problem with coons, they will come get it.
Now, like any of my migratory covers that I got a hole drilled in for the bucket, I have a brick that stays on top of the plug. Whenever I
yeah.
pull the plug out and put a
Oh
bucket
yeah,
on
yeah,
there, I put that brick on top of the bucket then to at
yeah.
least help. That way, I mean, if a little wind comes blowing through there, maybe it won't blow it off.
Yeah, it won't do that, but a coon that brick won't matter. You'd have to have a cinder block.
So what do you guys think about that domino sugar? Would that be the way to go? I think so, right? Probably be the
Well,
cheaper way.
hang on a second. Gas is expensive, and what do you got for time? So it's a 2-hour drive for you. You do the math and figure out how it works out.
Well, if you're figuring $4 for a 5 gallon pail, which would cost me $12 or $13 at Walmart for a 25-pound bag of sugar, I mean
Yeah,
that's like 3 buckets to a
yeah.
bag. I think it's a pretty good deal. I mean,
Just run the
if
numbers.
if you load a bunch of them up at one time and make a trip,
Mm-hmm.
not go up there every week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then you have to deal with the how are you going to how are you going to store that much without it going bad? So that's something else you got to take in the hand there.
It's
So
supposed to be. He's well. Dennis
take
told me
care,
it
bud.
was sucrose, so I don't know. I would hit it with. I would probably mix some apple cider vinegar in it, cut down with the fermentation, and
Another thing you can look forward to, Bob, is you won't have to make it.
oh, that's true. Well, just cut it right.
Yeah, you got that coming in.
Split a
Silver, I
bucket
swear
in
to
half.
God, he was talking about crows pulling those yellow plugs out. Not the buckets, but the plugs themselves. He was cursing some crow.
Hmm.
It's probably both animals or whatever, but
Mhm.
sorry. It was just so funny.
Speaking
And
of Dennis, there he is. We were just talking about you and your sugar.
then,
But I think it's a. I mean, I think I am going to go buy some. I might have to buy me a tote, one of them big totes, and then the problem is it's in the truck and figuring out how to get it off.
you
Unless I
know,
get one of those things like Charlie's got, and then just pour 5 gallon pails in there
good night, Morgan.
and do it that way. That'd
Yeah.
be a good idea. Hey, Rob.
Or
Hey, Rob.
put your
And you know something, guys?
put your
The other thing is that don't be afraid of putting some bleach in your syrup.
Yeah, I've done that too.
I I've had fantastic results with that, and it's just the bees don't care, you know.
They're like
Uh,
swimming pools.
They'll drink
what's
the
that?
nastiest looking water you can find
Mhm.
outside. That's what they prefer.
Yeah,
They let my chickens water.
do
And
they?
They
Char-
they drink out of the mud that my pig's been in. They
Oh yeah,
they drink out of my old wheelbarrow with the rusty cans in it.
yeah.
They don't care.
I think they drink out of a Charlie's popcorn bowl too.
Charlie's awfully quiet over there.
What's these buckets you got going on, Bob?
Well, Dennis Lentz came to visit me today, and he brought me 2 5-gallon pails of 2-to-1 from Domino sucrose from Domino Sugar Company.
Right.
$8 a 5-gallon pail of 2-to-1. So that's $4 a 5-gallon pail of 1-to-1 if you split it in half, right?
Right.
So that's much cheaper than buying sugar from Walmart. I would just have to drive a little, an hour or so to go get it. I'd have to load up the whole truck.
Well, can it fill you a tote up or something?
Yeah, he said you just pull up there and pay the guys, and they pump it with the same thing they pump tankers full with. So that would be a good thing, I think. If
I mean, you got to have a big enough truck to haul it. I mean, I'm sure you couldn't haul, I'll say, a full 300-gallon tote or whatever they hold.
well, I just got an F-150, so
You don't have enough truck.
so maybe not a full tote, but I could probably get several 5-gallon pails in there, I'm sure.
That
Yeah,
Ford will
I'm
handle it.
thinking about bulk.
Just a
I'm thinking
Toyota-
of the number of
Toyota-
moonshiners that are sitting in here going, well, wait a second, where can we get this syrup?
Right?
Are you talking about one of those big IBC totes, like the 275-gallon?
Mhm.
Yeah, the
Yes.
metal rimmed ones, yeah, or metal frame.
Hey, that's
F-150
awesome.
wouldn't haul that full?
Hey, check this out.
Yeah.
Boom. Oh, hold on.
I was clicking it at the same time.
Yep. I hooked Rob up with Scott from Blythewood Bee Company, so it seems like they will be carrying the Rob Bee vaporizers at Blythewood, so that'll be good. That's a good deal, man.
So
Glad
did you
for that.
guys see Cayman looking at the battery one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I seen that.
That was really interesting. I wrote to him and said, hey, I'd like to see the option for the Ryobis just because, something like Home Depot, that's their cordless thing they sell all the time. And
Yeah.
But I was looking at that doggone box, and if I'm not mistaken, it's made in Hungary.
Yes.
Right, Bruce.
How many hives could he hit at one time?
Was it the 6 amp hour battery or the 9 amp hour? He was saying like 50
Six.
hives.
Six.
The
And
battery
plunger
unit's in the tank.
of the battery is in a tank. Okay, so the plunger, the measured plunger, that to me was a game changer, and I think I wrote to Rob about that because who was it, the 45-ish?
A 5-amp hour can do 45-ish.
Yeah, because the ProVap or whatever, they had that stainless steel plunger in there, and I tell you what, doing that plunger, the battery thing and the speed and the efficiency and everything, that's just perfect. But that was icing on the cake for the measured plunger. So thank you for putting that out. I'll be ordering one of those.
What's the
I
price
like
on
that
it?
plunger.
It's $495 for the unit, as far as I know, but you have to buy the battery at like Lowe's or Home Depot or somewhere like that.
Hey,
Or if you got a drill that has one, you could just borrow your drill's battery.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm like Mike. I wouldn't mind the Ryobi battery. I mean, everything I got is Ryobi. I ain't doing no commercial stuff. Need anything heavy duty?
Yeah, they have DeWalt, Milwaukee, and
Now, keep in mind, my original ProVap was $495 or $485.
yeah.
So it's the same price, And I'm going to have to replace my ProVap after like 3 years, I think. It's starting to my ProVap is starting to lose its temperature. So where it used to get up to like 270 on the meter, now it's getting up to like 250. It went to 250, then 240. Now it's like 230s. It's just every time I use it, it seems like it's going down.
That's what I got, Lee. And I love the thing. The only thing I hated about that was the that you have to drill the hole for that one. It's not an entrance one.
Yeah.
But,
all mine already have a hole in it. Yeah.
But by the way, something went wrong on mine, and I got a hold of Rob, and he had the replacement parts out for me. I bought it a year. He sent them out to me the next day. So I don't have to buy all new batteries. So Rob has got. I mean, that's the service that you want, right? You know?
Hey Rob, the link is at the top. If you don't feel like typing and would rather talk on your headset, man, you're welcome to come in and tell everybody about it.
Over to DeWalt.
Come on in, Rob.
Oh, I see what he's talking about.
I'm going to bow out so Rob can have my spot.
And I'm going to take off in a minute here.
Good night, guys.
Good night, Lisa. But the thing is, that is the new one, right? They still have the original one, like Lee just showed, that you can get for $2 something.
That is the best budget system that I know of.
That's the one I just got.
Yeah.
So
and Robbie's also he's just modified that too, I believe, from what I was listening to from from Greg Burns.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, I've talked to Rob on the phone several times, and he has a genuine concern for beekeepers and beekeeping. It's not all about the dollar. It's about good service and taking care of the beekeeper. And he is a beekeeper. You know what I mean? There he is. Speak to the devil.
So DC for $200.
There he is.
Unless you got a whole crap load of highs. Yeah. So Rob has got you covered in all your price points. Oh hello, Rob.
And we popped him in and he wasn't ready.
Nope, I'm not on my headset. Sorry, guys. Caught me off guard.
We can hear you fine.
Yeah, go with the 200.
Yeah, I'm just fearful of feedback. I don't want to goof you up.
You sound like me. Usually, every time we start the stream, I'm on the wrong microphone.
Rod, you can't mess us up more than we're already messed up, sir.
Yeah, looks like I got her situated now.
Hey, well, we appreciate you coming in, and congratulations on your new deal there.
Yeah, he's actually a really down to earth guy. I think we talked for an hour and 10 minutes, and we were like, "Hey, we gotta fold this at some point because we're gonna talk all night." But yeah, that was pretty cool. So he's gonna get back to me. It sounds like he's pretty into it. We've got a good deal in the works to get him in there.
So Blythewood Bee Company is going to be carrying LaRobbie's vaporizers.
I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Sorry.
So that's good.
Good.
Good news.
Yep.
So after Kama's review of your new battery one, did you all of a sudden get flooded with requests and inquiries?
So I didn't know that Sunday he was dropping that video. I had a suspicion that it was coming.
Yeah.
But when I woke up Sunday, I woke up and I get updates on my phone so I can keep tabs if the website breaks or something like that. And we had sold out before I had woken up. And I was like, uh-oh. So I had to jump on. I'm like half asleep trying to make it where people can back order. And I think we're like 120 in the hole or something right now.
Good.
Wow, that's great.
That's a good problem.
And it's unbelievable. And truthfully, it is just a remarkable unit. They're more pricey than I'd like them to be. We really got beat up with the import tax and tariff and all that stuff.
Really?
That's just kind of, it's the nature of the beast. That kind of is what it is. But the unit is so robust. I've taken them apart. I've been all through it. It was a really long decision for us to take it on as the only distributor in the States. And it just amazes me every time I use it how efficient that unit actually is. 20-second treatment times don't seem like a lot compared to our like 45 seconds or so that we do now. But when you run hundreds of hives like a lot of our commercial individuals do, it matters, especially the portability. If you look at like having to buy a generator and or wall powered units, you know, you can basically do
dragging
the
those
same
things
thing
around.
and not have a noisy generator running and go with a stainless unit.
Yeah.
It's really awesome. It's got the heater units encased into the block of aluminum that's within the front of the housing of the unit. And they're rated for like 6,000 hours or something like that from the manufacturer. So they've got a long lifespan on them, especially at 20 seconds a hive. That's a lot of hives you can get through. Nothing is like welded into place on the thing. I could always put new heaters in it if somebody runs through the 6,000 hours. But 6,000 hours is several years worth of treatments, especially for a sideliner. Some of the commercial guys are going to give me a run for my money, I think, and I'm up for it. I really want to see where it goes. But all the testing that's happened overseas are guys who have hundreds of hives and a couple have several thousand hives. Before I even took on the testing of this unit, all that was under their belt with great success. So I've been really happy with it.
They've gone through the meltdown.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
They're new to the States, but he's had like 300 of them out, and he's never mentioned anybody under like 300 hives to me. All of his stuff is, you know, how long it'll run on each battery and all that. And this isn't just some manufacturer like they're stamping them out in China. The guy in Hungary runs a ton of hives. He told me today, he's like, Rob, I have to make units and I also have to extract honey. I'm having a problem. So it's like I was there a year and a half ago, but I understand. So he really is just an incredible guy. He's a very accredited engineer. He for those who are in the 3D printing world, he was one of the head engineers for the Form Labs 3D printers, the resin printers. So he's just all around awesome guy. And he's scaling up, and I think it's very well deserved. The unit is very solid.
Now, Rob, the last time you and I talked, we had a discussion about this product that, you know, and we talked about how ProVap was trying to put one out, but now ProVap has scrapped that idea, right? They're not putting it out. Is that what you're understanding?
So I haven't seen yet. I really don't keep that tight of tabs on them, in all honesty. I know that.
Whoop.
Oh,
hold on.
There I am.
There you go.
I know they did there for a while. I haven't looked recently at prices or if they have it or anything like that. I have heard some concerns that customers have had with that specific unit, just through trial and error from overseas testing with that unit. But as far as stateside stuff, I don't really know, because those units are all imported as well.
You have closed.
Thanks, Dennis. I really was pretty impressed with that video, but the reality is I was very skeptical of that unit and the claims when it was being shipped to me and what he was telling me online. And then I got it in my hands and was like, oh, this thing is that serious. So I part of our agreement is I was like, I'm gonna stop developing a battery one because some of my YouTube videos was me tinkering around and trying to sort it out, and there is not a single thing that I can think to improve that unit, and you know that's just the bottom line. He's got one piece that he wants to make where you basically will have a cartridge of oxalic acid on the vaporizer, so you can essentially run 2 at a time with one guy, but still, in my opinion, it's still so fast that you would be hustling 10 seconds a hive. You know, it's a lot of moving around. It's really the commercial guys will want that. Because his thought is the more time you save, the more time, you know, across the board, the more money you make at the large scale. So the guy is really focused and really dedicated. He's got a lot of really interesting oxalic acid experiments that he wants some researchers to take up stateside. It's really, there's a lot of neat concepts. It's been really fun to be able to dig that deep into it. With somebody else who's driven like I am into the production of oxalic acid and fighting varroamite.
So obviously they're available. Well, they were available for a split second until Cayman's video came out. So
yeah, so we're still taking orders, but we have it listed at 5 weeks now. I have my fingers crossed that in 3.5, I'll be able to catch up with our current deficit. The guy in Hungary is setting up a a shop and all that. He's transforming out of his garage essentially because he learned real quick that he needs more power than that. So he's getting some help and he's scaling. But so I'm hoping that we can meet the deadline and all that stuff, so I don't have to correct. I'd rather have that safety net of a window and then deliver them early than the other way around.
Right.
It's just how I kind of prefer to run business. But yeah, so people can get them online. They're still on there. You can check them out. You can watch Cayman's video and such about them. But yeah, we're definitely, we have a lead time, that's for sure.
All right. Well, I need one eventually. As soon as I can figure out how I'm going to fund it, then we'll make it happen. But that's crazy. So you're saying it's like 20 seconds a hive, 20 something seconds a hive?
It looks like Randy just put in that he said, Rob, I did 30 hives with it today and it took 18 minutes.
Wow.
That's not right. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it is like when I tell you, I thought our units, and I believe our units are quick. This thing is like, what is happening? And it's incredible. And being able to do that, and being able to make treatments fast and easy, and not a pain in the neck, and not, the easier it gets, the more likely people are to do it and to get on a good schedule and to be successful. And that's really the bottom line. So the easier you can make it, the better off it'll be. And there's a price for convenience, I guess you could say, but I truthfully think it's a really good step for the market to move into the battery world. All your drills are battery anymore. You're not buying a corded drill anymore. So it makes sense. It's the right step.
Yeah. Somebody had a comment here talking about the Apame hives. Will it still be able to be used with Apame, or would you need that adapter plate?
So this is an interesting piece that I've run into recently. I actually had a guy call me today about this. So I run like 95% Apame now. I've only got about 20 hives that I manage, but my Apame, I normally do the adapter plate with our original vaporizer, and it works. It's not perfect. The adapter plates get the job done, but it's not as perfect as I would like. The steel cools the copper a little bit too quick for my liking, so it can promote clogging. I'm very nitpicky with how I go about things. It just doesn't have the final step. That being said, the stem on the InstaVap is a wider diameter than the adapter plate has as a whole. Even if I made that a wider hole, or if somebody drilled it out, I think that the Apame box would still be too close to the front of the InstaVap, and the whole front half of this thing stays really hot, and it's a solid mass. So I feel like it would still transfer, heat over to the box pretty quick, even in a 20-second, treatment. So it's been a problem that I've been working with. So long story short, I don't think the adapter plates are going to be the right solution, even if I get one that has the right hole and has the right all that. So I have a guy, I had somebody tell me, hey, just put a wine cork on the end of it. I do that with your old vaporizer with the Apame, and it gets the job done. And I haven't tried that yet, but what I did was I used some of the PTFE washers that we use on our original units. It's a chemically inert high temp plastic compound that we had custom made. I drilled out some of those, stuck them on the end, and was able to treat my Apame without burning anything. I got a solid mite drop. It wasn't anything groundbreaking for the time of year we're in. So I want to do some digging in those hives before I have a conclusive result, just to see that it didn't like all stick to the side of a frame or something like that, that it really got a good treatment. It didn't clog, it didn't do anything whack, it didn't melt anything, but it's still in testing, and I do plan to have a formal solution for the InstaVap that's safe, that people can do in the near future.
Larimore asks, does the quicker time cut back on the kill rate versus the longer exposure time? I think the quicker time is what you're talking about, is the actual time it takes to sublimate the actual oxalic acid into gas. The amount of time it stays in the colony would be the same that it would have been. It just reheats faster so you can use it again.
So the going theory, and this is one of the tests that we're trying to get a local, maybe the University of Georgia, to link up with. I haven't talked to Bob Benny. I know he's got some ins over there. But anyway, one of the tests is does oxalic acid degrades at some temp, right? Because if you take a torch to it, it'll burn clear essentially. So it degrades at some temp. So they're curious if the degradation of the oxalic acid will essentially happen faster or slower with the different temp range essentially. So the studies that I've seen, the graphs that I've seen that are all like backyard tests show that it's actually essentially the same. And there's a going theory that oxalic acid degrades over time, but nothing is like chemically proven in a laboratory, right? It's just all backyard tests and graphs that have been homemade, but valid theory. So the theory is that if it degrades over time and it's still within a valid temp range, just more mass to keep it within the valid temp range, then it really shouldn't have enough time to degrade. Is the thought process. And oxalic acid, when it sublimates, is white crystals in the air, essentially. And it is a huge plume of white smoke. So visually, not doing any testing, visually, there's a lot of OA that is sublimating out of it. Same with all of our other units and such. So there is no definitive with that just yet, but that is something that we would like to see. Because there's also part of the other theory is the test showed that if you increase the dosage amount to a certain point, the temperature to a certain point, the amount of oxalic of acid in general that was collected out of the stem increased past a certain temperature. Now, there's no way without a laboratory to tell if that is oxalic acid or formic acid or a combination. Visually, it all looks like oxalic acid, but how did it create more, right? Did some degrade at a lower temp and not at a higher temp? We don't really know, but the theory, a potential theory, a question, I guess, could be, if that was the case, could a higher temp be a solution than a controlled higher temp be a solution to increasing dosage instead of doubling and continuing to add more acid at lower temps? It's a very, like I said, and this all, to none of my credit, comes from the gentleman in Hungary who's done all the research and, testing with his unit. And this is what he's found in his backyard tests. And his setup is really incredible with how far he's really dug into this. But it poses some really interesting questions that I think would be good info moving forward for the bee community. I really think it's interesting stuff. I found it pretty neat.
Well, until this year, oxalic acid was the only treatment I used as far as for varroa mite. I mean, Apivar for the first time this year. However, the Apivar I got from Man Lake was already out to expire when they sent it to me, right? It expires in October. It's got a 2-year shelf life, which means it's been sitting in their warehouse for 2 years or somebody's warehouse for 2 years up until I got it, which is that's not good business, right? When you go to the milk, you're not buying the one that's getting ready to expire. Right. It's just the way it is. But I prefer the OA. And the problem is when you go out there to treat 60 colonies or 50 colonies, then the weather's got to be right. I've got to be able to stretch my extension cords from the building out to my colonies. Or now that I've got the power inverter for my truck, I can pull my truck up there and run it out there, but it's the same thing. If you have the battery unit and the battery's charged, you plug it in and you go out there and you just start zapping colonies, real quick. So I can definitely see the benefit in that. And I'm pretty sure that will be my next unit,
I mean, if you've already got battery tools, you're generally going to have multiple batteries anyway. Yeah, so, I mean, you ain't got to worry about using just one battery going dead. I've heard some of the comments before. Well, battery's going to go dead. Then what do? Well, you got backup batteries. Right. Throw another battery on while the first one's charging.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that he's experimented with overseas is, and I forget the manufacturer, the amp hour, and all that, but he has run tests where the unit runs at a certain speed, and with a rapid charger and an inverter, you're able to recharge the other. I forget if it's a 5 amp hour or whatever. I think it was a DeWalt that they were working with, but you're able to recharge one in your truck while you're doing the round. And by the time that battery emptied, you had a full battery to go, and you could essentially just keep switching out for the guys with hundreds of hives and not have a big, box of batteries to go through a yard with.
Well,
So,
anybody that's been in construction knows you have one in your gun and one on the charger at all times, right?
Yep.
Because if you're doing construction work, that's not a good excuse. Well, I'm waiting on my battery to charge to put this drywall up. That doesn't work, at all.
I know as far as my 4 amp hour batteries, I have 5 of them. So, I mean,
yeah.
if you can get the adapters from one brand battery to another brand, you'd be able to use whatever you got already.
Yeah, I haven't seen the prices. I haven't really had time to dig into them. I was only told about them. I think it was yesterday evening. But I've had a couple people say, "Oh yeah, I'll just get the adapters," and all the pieces are universal. I don't know if, as far as the connectors go, I don't know if down the road I'll be able to send if they wanted a rigid, I'll be able to send them that piece and have them switch it, or if it'll have to come back for me to do it. I have to talk to the manufacturer and see where he feels comfortable with that regard, especially because it's so new. So I still have to feel that out. But the goal is to not have people buy one and then be stuck with an adapter as a permanent fixture. I don't like that. I wouldn't want that. So that's not.
Well, currently, you think that they're using DeWalt batteries?
So our current ratio, I can pull it up. Our current ratio, I believe, is like a 75-25 split, DeWalt to Milwaukee. We sell both models, but it seems like the adapters, from what I've heard at least, lean more towards the DeWalt, compatible on the other end. Again, I haven't looked into them. That's just what customers have told me, and like the instant messenger and stuff of what they've found. Yeah, they're awesome. Just keep in mind that there's a 4 to 5 week lead time. What kind of heating element is in this unit? So they are cartridge heaters. He's got a lot of like patents and stuff with it. It's really pretty fascinating, but they're rated for like 6,000 hours. I think I've mentioned that. And yeah,
so your price points, the corded unit, your original unit, where is that at right now? Price.
So our original corded, I think I've had both of ours on sale for, I want to say 2.5 months. They're like $260, and then the macro is like $280 or something like that. And I'm pretty comfortable with those prices. That's why I kept them. I'd rather sell more of them than make a killing on them. So I also have to update those pictures, at least the macro. At least we got rid of the bolt on the bottom of the unit, so it'll sit flat on the bottom boards. That was a suggestion from Greg Burns when we were out at his property, and it drove me crazy all the way driving back to Baltimore. So we made that change, and I wish I would have done that out of the gate. I wish I would have done the drive up to Greg's to do that, because being able to sit flat on any bottom board, it makes it a hands-free tool, so you can run a couple of them at a time. It really just makes it more rugged, and really the right way it should be.
And the battery unit is what, about $495 or so?
Yeah, they're $495. It's free shipping. It comes with one plunger. You can get a second plunger. They're $52, but you really don't need it unless you're running hundreds of hives and you got a mixture of you're wanting to do 4-gram doses and 2 grams side by side. You don't want to adjust the screw that's in the top, the flat disc piece. You just screw that, and you can change the dosage. So unless you don't want to spend the time adjusting it when you move to your nukes or something like that, then you should get a second plunger. But you can essentially move as fast as that plunger, literally as fast as you can move, you can go. The plunger doesn't need to cool down. It's true stainless steel. The spring won't, fall out on you or anything like that. I've been very happy with their build quality on everyone. We inspect everyone when it comes stateside. I QC everyone. We go through it, check it out, and I've been very pleased with it. very pleased. So the units are 250 watts. That's a pretty well known number. That's the maximum that you can run on a battery without having problems. So you have to be pretty picky on what controllers you use and all that, because you can get into some issues with having battery problems, drawing too much. If the heaters claim one thing and they're actually drawing more than they should, you'll really mess people's batteries up, and the batteries aren't cheap. So yeah, all that stuff is kind of handpicked, and the bowl design is pretty unique, and it's just incredible. I mean, really, and somebody would essentially have to copy exactly what he has to come remotely close to his times.
What's the weight without the battery? Mike says, because he couldn't speak up.
Let me.
Well, I don't want to interrupt him.
Well, Mike, I don't know.
I mean, it looks like it's built like a tank, Rob. So that's why.
Yeah, but it's not. So like, because of the bends and how it's designed, they don't need super thick gauge to get the job done. But like, it's thick enough that like you can't like crinkle any of it. You know what I mean? It is very rugged.
Actually, there was no leading to that question. I was just guessing it weighs somewhere between 1.5 pounds and 2.5 pounds. I got nothing to base that on.
I would say, I mean, I was just holding one of the like Milwaukee batteries, and I would say it's probably a little bit more than like this 4 amp hour that I have here. As far as like weight goes, I have one downstairs, but I just don't have one of the units handy to weigh. It's not a lot, but it's got a it's got a big mass of aluminum in the front as part of their like patented bowl design, where they've got all the cartridge heaters in it and all that. So that's really what holds all the heat. So it actually bounces really nice. It's got a really nice handle on it. I really have no complaint. It's not tremendously heavy. You can put like a 12 amp hour on it and hang it on the front of a hive, and you're not going to snap your stem off unless you push down on it real hard or something.
What about putting it through the back, Rob?
You can. I would assume that because it doesn't have the cleat like our original does, that you would have to hold it. But you're talking 20 seconds. What's the
now? Is that for 20 seconds for a 4 gram dose?
I do believe. It's been a bit since it's been a week and a half now since I've used it last. But I do believe it was about that. I think the difference was like 5 or 6 seconds. So I think the 4 gram was 25 seconds, and I think the 2 gram was like 18 seconds or something like that.
Right. Let's ask the question everybody wants to know. With a show of hands in the comment, who actually measures the amount of oxalic acid that they put in their dosing? I don't.
If a cup
scoop
counts, I just scoop it in the cup and go.
If it fits, it goes.
No, I've measured it out as far as like total volume that fits into the plug, and I've got out there with a gram meter. I've done average, so that's how I measure it there, Bob. It's I know how much fits in there.
I've got like a scooper thing, but
yeah, but I look at my bees. I look at the hive and I say, "Man, that's not enough."
Yeah,
so
that's me.
I fill a cup up on mine, and it'll hold 4 to 6 grams.
Yeah, I put about that much. I don't know.
When they come out of the hive, coughing and spitting, you got enough in there.
Right. When you're standing behind the hive and you're coughing and spitting, then they got enough.
No.
I've got a question for you, Rob, about oxalic acid, because
sure,
we screwed around with giving like 3-day doses of 4 grams, per double super, and it was in the fall, and I'm in Minnesota, and I think I was doing it way too much, and I heard of this happening before. It appears that those queens shut down their production of winter bees, and all 6 of those hives crashed. And I'm putting that on me, and I got that from somebody else down in Iowa. Have you heard anything about that? Over-treating in my climate.
So run me over your dosage that you were putting in again.
It was 2 grams per super. They're doublers, so it's 4 grams a box, and 3 days apart.
I don't think that would be remotely correlated personally.
Yes, we didn't think so either.
What
And
time of year, Mike?
oh dear Lord,
Is
thank
that,
you very
you
much. That
talking
was in
minute or
November.
what are we talking?
That was in November, and I absolutely did not need to be treating them 3 days apart in November for crying out loud.
No. So what were your temps? Because if you were, well, if you're talking about they're still making winter bees, I would assume that they're not fully in their cluster yet that time of year in your area.
Yeah, they weren't. It was about 50.
Yeah, I mean that's
35
when I would hit them. In all honesty, I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't go that many rounds, but that's not because of a fault, just because of a personal preference. But
That
I also
was
don't have my eyes on your bees to be able to judge
right.
that.
And these were
Did
really
you- did
strong
you-
hives, and it was just something we
Did
were
you get any
screwing
kind of
around with.
mite,
And I
mite
think,
drop?
what's that?
Did you check any kind of mite drop of what you were getting?
No, we didn't. And but onto a humor note, though, Rob, I actually shot a video of this. I had a neighbor call up, down on the peninsula here, and they said we had some bees move into a hollow tree, 20 feet up. Thought, yes, there's no other bees around here. It's probably a swarm from one of my hives. So I thought, well, what the heck? I'll go up there and I'll hit them in the fall. I think it was like November 7th or something like that with oxalic acid. So I get up on this extension ladder and I go to plug the hole up. This hole's about yay big, and I'm trying to plug it up with, like not a paper towel, cotton towel, which of course is a really bad idea. So I'm up on the ladder. I'm blowing in this stuff. Not only does the towel catch fire, but the cork plops at the same time.
Oh,
So it's like, you can't make this. It was Keystone Cop moment. It was just something to make you laugh. So, anyways, hey guys, I got to
Howard
take off.
Inferno.
Rob, congratulations on what appears to be a panzer of a product.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So very, very impressed with it. And Brad, Charlie, Bob, Lee, and everybody else out there. Thanks a lot. We've got rain coming down here. I'm going to go in and run and pick up my laundry before.
I got
Get
a
off
head
the
on
line.
that too. So you guys have a great night.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, take care.
Have a good one, Mike.
Yeah.
Have a good one, Brad.
Bye bye.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some weird Varroa stuff going on this year myself. In the spring when I came on, I noticed one colony I found 4 bees in there that had deformed wing virus, and I absolutely nuked them with OA, and they made it and survived. And a few weeks ago, I was in one of my brand new nukes, and I actually saw mites crawling on the comb. So I blasted everything. Yeah, I'd never seen that before. So I went and blasted them. So it's time for me to do it again, but we've had rain every day. So I don't want to be dragging extension cords out in the middle of the rain,
Right.
to try to, even though they are external, exterior grade extension cords, but I just don't want to be in the water.
Yeah.
And so the battery is a great option. And now that I have as many colonies as I do, I really need to up my OA game. So
Yeah, I've been thoroughly impressed. It blows me away every time I use that unit. It just, I can't say enough about it. I mean, I am not just like the sales guy for it. I am horrible at selling these things verbally. I don't push people into them. You know what I mean? I
Right.
just am glad that people are at least aware that there are multiple options to be able to kill varroa mites, and that they're doing it. And that's the biggest thing, because that means they're keeping healthy bees, and that's the bottom line. But as far as it goes, the beekeeper in me loves the crap out of this thing. Like, it is awesome. And that's just it. So yeah, I've been very happy that I do plan to go with the Makita and the rigid batteries adapters soon. I'm not sure when the next shipment will be in, or when I at least have to play catch up for a bit before we bring those adapters over. But I am looking into them. They've been the 2 most requested from everybody.
Well, I'm once you get caught up, you'll probably be seeing an order from me.
Yeah, I really had to put it at 5 weeks to slow the orders down because like I am not sure how much this guy can really turn out. I think we'll be just fine. Amir, I saw your message on the web page. I'll get back to you about the plunger here shortly.
And, so, hey, I'm really glad that you and Scott finally got hooked up because every time I go in there, I bug the crap out of him. Did you call Rob?
Yeah, so I reached out to him a while back. He's going through some stuff right now, so he ended up reaching out to me tonight. He actually wanted the battery ones, but the way the contract is right now, and really I don't have enough skin in it to make it worth anybody's time to resell it. In all honesty, but so he's going to do the corded ones and all that. So I really think it's a big upgrade for him. It's a lot more affordable for his customers compared to what he's got on there now.
Right.
And yeah, I think the sale price is going to be pretty permanent. I want to kind of keep it that way.
Well,
we'll
availability. He can't get the other ones, from what I gather.
Yeah,
problem,
yeah.
so.
I try not to talk too much about the other ones, just as a professionalism standpoint. But I try to refrain. It's hard sometimes, but yeah, I just try and do the best that we can and put our best foot forward, and just give people, it's not just a unit, it's a service, and
Right.
it's a lot more than that to me.
Well, I've said it on the show before. Every time I've called you, if I didn't get you, you did call me back, like
Oh yeah,
really quick. It's not been a waiting game.
I have been walking around for the past 3 days with a phone charger in one hand and a phone in the other. And I've been going from plug to plug to plug, it feels like, just responding to people nonstop.
You just need to get you one of those juice boxes and keep it charged up in your pocket.
I really need to break down, and that just needs to be like how I proceed. Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's just gonna be like that, I guess. But yeah, it's nice. It's really been a lot of fun having the whole family involved too. My mom and now sister are doing the packaging for us. My grandfather and a couple of my buddies are doing work down the shop and stuff. So it's a blast. I love every ounce of it. It's awesome.
Well, did you think 2 years ago that this would be the way it is when you started?
No.
I
think it was like 4 years ago. I bought one box of bees from a local guy, and him and I are still really good buddies. That was actually how I had originally met Charlie, was through the bee club. And Susquehanna is, about a half hour, 45-minute ride to go to their meetings. But, I went because Pat was up there, this gentleman named Pat, and him and I just really hit it off. He was like, "Have you ever been in a box of bees before?" I'm like, "Nope, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going for it." And I was buying one nuke from him, and he put me in a suit, and that was just kind of how I got my feet wet. And I bought it late in the year, he coached me to be able to overwinter it, and it went just fine. And then come the next year, I over the whole winter I dove into YouTube. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make a business. I'm going to rear queens. We're going to do all that. And I did within the first year, based on like Cayman's videos. He's got some really great videos on queen rearing and stuff. Makes it easy. And then I needed a vaporizer. And in my mind, I wasn't spending ProVap money because that was the big ticket item on the market at the time. Because I had dealt with a wand. I knew how slow it was. And I was burning bees and all kind of stuff, and I just couldn't justify the cost. And then I went down this little rabbit hole of trying to build my own, and then I spent way more than a ProVap, but I was having fun at that point, so it really wasn't. And then I kind of had to sell some to break even because I was so far in the red on just making mine, and that's just kind of how it went. But yeah, so it was pretty cool.
Silver Gorillas say a discount code?
We don't have any for the battery units. The only code I think that we have running, it's not really like a code, but it's like an affiliate thing. You get 5% on our wall powered units If you click Cayman's affiliate link, I think that's an automated thing on top of our current sale. So there's a little bit of savings to be had there, but I don't think we're running anything other than that at this time.
Okay.
Just because we're so swamped as it is right now.
Yep, you don't need to give discounts if you're selling.
Yeah, I like to. I love doing the giveaways and stuff, but like I've had to like fatten the lead times just to slow the ordering down and try and like hold people off.
Right.
Which is just insane to me that's actually a thing. I get you. There's no harm there. I am very proud that you tried because a lot of people don't try. But
I had that happen to me today. A guy came to buy honey. He's like, "Hey, how much are your pints of honey?" I said, $15. He said, "Can you do 10?" I said, "No, I can't." he said, "Well, I'm on a limited income." And of course, now I'm thinking in my mind, you just drove up in a F-250 Power Stroke diesel. And, I understand. I said, but I got about $10,000 worth of extracting equipment in there, that I paid for. But I said, okay, I'll sell you a pint for 10 today. Right. And I sold to him. And then about 5 minutes into our conversation, he says, "Hey, what's the chance I can get another one at 10? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Then it'd be getting a whole bottle free.
Yeah, that's what I said. Then you're getting 3 pounds for the price of 2. No, I can't do that. I would be out of business. I said, "You're a farmer. You had to pay for your farming equipment. I have to pay for my farming equipment.
Right.
And I got to make this honey, make it till the next time honey can be."
That's like they come up there with me, and I, especially some of these people, and I'm like, I didn't see you up there at 98 degrees in a bee suit helping me get this honey out.
Yeah.
Right.
Taking all the
You want to come up there and help me get this honey out while it's 98 degrees? I'll give you a discount.
I might even give you a bottle of honey.
I know Sunday I was out there. We had a heat index of 108 here Sunday, and I was in the bee suit.
Oh, yeah. I started pulling honey, and I actually used a migratory cover instead of the telescoping cover, Charlie, by the way. But I flipped the migratory cover down. I had a stack of bee boxes out there, right? And I put a migratory cover on top. And as soon as I had this big, ginormous stack of boxes, I started seeing clouds and thunder rolling in. And now I've got to load all those in the back of my truck to load them inside. It's like, and I'm drenched with sweat. And,
oh yeah.
And then the guy wants to nickel and dime you $5, which is, for him is less than a gallon of gas.
People don't realize how hot those suits get until you have lived through trying to get a full yard done and just pushing through something, and you're out there like, oh my god. And you can't I got some hives that I'm working with genetics and trying to get some temperament out of them and stuff, but I got one of my yards, I can't take my veil off to take a drink, so I just got to knock the whole thing out, and then I can go get in the truck and take a drink.
Right.
I found as long as it's regular water, I'll drink it straight through my front screen.
Yeah, I know my luck though, because I had somebody tell me the only time he gets stung was when he leans forward and the veil touches his nose, and they sting him on the nose. So I won't risk it.
I've
also battled with
but it's pretty close.
I've also battled with being super allergic to honeybees and all kind of crazy stuff. So I went through the allergy therapy programs and all kind of stuff. I got stung on the side of the face the other day and was very glad I went through that because I wasn't near an EpiPen, or I was in the garden just doing normal gardening stuff and got tagged in the face. So
the dentist was over today, and we had that swarm happen, and we're sitting there watching it, and out of nowhere, I started to get zapped on my socks. He's standing there. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dennis. You were wearing sandals. You had sandals on and shorts, and I had shorts on and tennis shoes and black socks, and they were tearing my behind up on my ankles.
Yeah, I went into a hive yesterday at this guy's house to help him out, and I think I told him to get a veil on. And
hey, Spanky,
I pulled that queen excluder off, and they didn't. I mean, they were around me. Of course, I had my suit on, And I'm like, no big deal. I didn't even smoke them. And man, they went right to him and just stung the snot out.
Oh,
And I'm like, what? And I'm thinking to myself, did you go drinking some alcohol before you came with me?
They were tearing me up for
Because they'll
sure.
do that. If you drink alcohol, they can smell it coming out of your pores and stuff.
Yeah, I think Spanky took a couple of stings yesterday too.
Oh yeah, they're right at the chin.
oh. I
They
watched
let-
Greg Burns pull one out of each ear the day I was up there. I could not. He was holding his hand over a box, and it was pitch black out. And truthfully, I made the mess. I turned the box into the headlights trying to look at it, while I was jamming the screen into it, and I didn't get the screen in, and they dumped out of the box. And at that time, I didn't know I hadn't tested out my allergy treatment or whatever. So I was like, all right, Greg, that's your box. And I stepped away and all that. And he loaded it on the truck, and we got back up the barn, and he had actually taken grass and jammed it in the entrance of it to hold him in there for the ride. And he pulled the grass out, put his hand over it to block him. And I could see, I had my mom with me. I could see that he was taking stings on the arm and wasn't flinching, wasn't saying nothing. And it was probably 6 or 7. It was enough where I would have been like, no thanks. And she didn't even notice that. And I was like, uh-oh. And he goes, when he looked back at me, it was like, all right, you may want to step back. It's getting a little rough. I was like, okay. And he pulled his hand back, and they just all like stuck to him. And he took about 3 more steps back and went, woo! Got me in both ears that time. I was like, oh my God. I've never seen anybody do that in my life. That was so funny.
It's amazing that how far they can actually put their stinger out through socks, through jeans, through shirts.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
Yeah, the jeans get me every time. Whenever I crouch down, it gets tight around my knee, and they'll get me on like my kneecap.
It seems like they always go right for my inner thighs, like
Oh.
right on the inside of my jeans, because when I crack the box open, if it's a single deep, they're like right at crotch level. So, you know,
What kind of jackets do you guys use? Bead
I got
jacket.
a Guardian.
Guardian. Yeah. How
I
do you
got-
guys like them?
Yeah, I go either way. For the money, I don't know. They're kind of pricey for what they are. I mean, they don't even have Velcro on the pockets.
For the most part, I just wear a veil. But if we're
I
kind
like
of in
that.
a low,
I like that
low,
front veil thing.
Yeah.
Where you the zipper. That's the only thing I really like about them.
most time I just wear a Man Lake Clearview veil. But if they're in a dearth or anything and they're a little upset, bad weather, I'll put my Guardian on.
Yeah.
But what I will say is I bought the Guardian and I had some issues with it. And I didn't even have it 3 months. They sent me out a brand new jacket. They didn't ask. They just said, hey, send me some pictures of what's going on with it. And I snapped some with my phone and emailed it to them. They said, no problem. It's on its way. And 2 days later, I had a jacket here. So they were good on the customer service end of it.
Yeah, I wear a full suit. It's I don't know what brand it is. It's from Man Lake, and they get me through it. It's got that fencing style hood. And you lean forward, and they get you right there in the chin.
Yeah, I don't like the fencing hoods. I like,
but
the
it does have Velcro in the pockets.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Half the price jackets have Velcro on the jackets, on the pockets.
Problem I have with the Velcro is it gets stuck on there, and I'm trying to put something in there, and I can't get the darn stuff.
Hey, I prefer that over having stuff in those pockets, and you lean over to work a single deep, and everything falls out of the pockets that you have in there. Your queen clip, your queen market pin, your wax block, all that stuff you had in your pocket.
Bob, to let you know, the Guardian jacket does have Velcro on the top pocket.
Well, that's great. It'd hold my cigarettes in place, but it wouldn't hold, wouldn't hold anything I use in place. That's the only problem I've got.
Yeah,
with
I bought a Guardian when we were down there at Hive Life this year. And the other one I have is a Pro, what do you call it? I think it was called. The Pro one from Man Lake.
Provent.
Provent, yeah. The only problem I have with Provent is the pockets for me. They need to be more in the front of me like a hoodie is. You know, they're and they're off to the side, and they just are not.
Yeah, you gotta like dig around your side for. I
Yeah,
can
you
see
got
where
to
that'd
dig
be a
around your
pain.
side all the time. Now the Provent, it's thin and it's lighter than Guardian, and it works well. Guardian is puffy, and the first thing I did when I went out to my highs, I got them lids, and it catches on where they bend the tin around and staple it. I'm always getting caught. I've already got a hole ripped in one of the arms. The only thing I really like about it is they got that zipper on the front of that hood, where if I got let my glasses get all watered up or my face.
Yeah, you can get in there without taking the whole thing.
Yeah,
off.
you can get in there and do all that and that kind of stuff, and especially if you're doing vaping, you can put your mask on without taking your whole darn hood off and putting glasses on and putting your try to bring that thing over top of your head with all that gear on and all that stuff. But
Charlie, you know how to take your hood off now, don't you?
Yeah, I can finally take the darn thing off. He had to make a video in order to learn how to take the veil off so he could wash the suit.
Oh wow!
I mean it's a certain way of doing them zippers. You know, it's not like the normal way of other things. But
interesting.
But Blythewood Bee Company sells one called a Cool Shield that's made out of the same material that the Guardian's made out of. And it's like $80 as compared to $150.
Well, they kept saying the Guardian's American made, and I'm like, it's not there. It can't be.
I would speculate that the material comes from overseas and it's like stitched stateside. Because the material, from what I've seen, now I could be 100% wrong. I haven't done that much research into the manufacturing process, but from what I've seen, a lot of that stuff comes from the same plant. I could be dead wrong. I don't know.
But it's still hot.
Yeah. Made in Pakistan.
Made in Pakistan?
That's what the tag inside the Guardian says.
There you go. So do those two hives I got you work out for you?
Those things are monsters now.
All right, that's good. They didn't die.
I took him. I checkerboarded them a little thicker than I normally would. I normally don't like breaking up too much brood, but I was like, well, we'll split them out. We'll see what they'll do. And I put every other one with Premier Foundation. I was like, I'm either going to get a ton of cells or I'm going to have a ton of success. And it turned into a ton of success. And I think each one's got 110 pound of honey on it.
Were those Cutic hives, Charlie?
No, they were a friend of mine. A boy was I taught. He was in the going into the National Guard, and he was trying to downsize. He just got back. Now he's going to go back and upsize to like 20 some hives. I don't like whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and he's bugging me about using my extractor. I said, look, why don't you just call Better Bee and tell them to send you one of them 20 frame license down, and you got your own darn thing, you'd be done with it.
Yeah, I've really been looking at those Hilco units. I've been looking really hard at them.
I see. I mean, yes, the bottom conical thing design is nice and all that, but one thing that sours me, like I watched Barry and they got plastic, what do you call it, baskets in there.
Do they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The round ring in there is plastic.
I didn't know that. Oh.
Yes. Well, they don't. It's not plastic. It's another type of.
Right, but my Maxon, I've got a 6.9 or 9.6, whatever. Maybe it's a 9.3. I forget. 6.3, whatever. Anyway, I've had it for a couple of years, and that thing's got a stainless basket in it, and that's one of my favorite things.
It's a 3000 model, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I had.
And I wish it had a lid where I could fold the whole motor assembly back and pull that basket out. But I can't.
See, the Lyson has the motor under the bottom, and it's belt driven.
Oh.
So
interesting.
I can open up both sides of mine, and it's got bolts on top. You could really take the whole thing apart from the top and not even mess with the.
There's a couple. There's a couple of members in the club that have the. Harry has a license, and there's another gal right up in Jarrettsville's got a 20 frame license.
Yeah.
One thing I do like about it is, and Bob's got one. He's got a 30. Is that you got your legs coming down, and then there's crossbars going from one leg to the other underneath. So there's this. Is it got 4 legs on it, Bob?
Yes, I believe
So
it
there's
is.
4 legs instead of 3 legs. A lot more stable.
Yeah.
And all. And now the one member up in Jarrettsville, they bolt theirs to the 4. Is it 3 or 1?
Let me see.
Can't really see. That's the only picture they're showing of it.
Doesn't Hilco have like a 10-year warranty or something crazy on his?
4-year
Is it
warranty.
4?
It's 4 years, I think, on the motor and stuff, and then I believe 10 on the rest. But don't quote
some
me
of
on
it's 10.
Yeah, that was part of the reason why I was like, well, if he warranties it that far, he must really,
Okay, I will agree with you on that.
That's at least my thought process. I haven't seen one in person, but I do like some of the features that Charlie explained about the bottom and stuff. The basket is a little of a reservation. Personally, having not felt one in person or tried.
Yeah, I like steel. Now I got this.
My thing is with long warranties is you have to show to me that you will be in business to warranty that in 4 years. He hasn't been in business for 4 years with Hilco yet. I'm not wishing bad will on him. I'm just saying he hasn't been around 4 years, so there's no track record saying that he will even be around.
It's cheap.
Yeah, I mean,
isn't that stuff really Chinese or something?
To me, it looks a lot like the Saf Natura, just a different color.
Probably.
Because the Saf Natura has that same plastic basket ring on it. And I'm not saying it's a bad product. Everybody that's gotten it has said they've liked it. So, but for the price of the bigger ones, you can just about buy a license at the same price. And license to me has been out. I mean, they've been time tested. So that was.
I mean, but you think, with a license, I mean, I've looked on their European website, I guess you would call it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're a major factory over there.
Right.
I mean, they don't just do 1 or 2 things. They do, beekeeping in general in Europe is huge compared to what we do in this country. And, I mean, they're into it. It's there. But I like now I have my Man Laker, which is farm made, but it's got a basket that's welded, and it does okay. But that license, if you look at the basket, it's kind of like a Max Ant. It's got that flat metal with those notches cut in there, and your frames fit in them notches really. Click on that basket. Yeah, just like that.
Yeah, that's how mine is. Yep.
That's my data.
See how the bottom there where you got them cups down there that holders can slide from side to side, and them other notches there. That's
the data ant right there.
That's a data ant, but that's the kind of basket you want.
Yeah, that's what I have on my 20 frame data.
Yeah, it holds them frames from. I don't think them frames they don't flop around, do they?
No, not at all.
They never flop around.
Hey, can you?
Mine will if you don't watch it sometimes.
Lee, can you pull up the other the
license?
The license. I don't know why I'm brain farting. That's the one I've got right there.
Gotcha.
Have you got inside?
Nah, that's the only picture they have on the Better Be
Are you
site.
able to pull the Hilco up so we can glance at that for another comparison there?
Yeah, give me just a sec.
So the Hilco is, I believe, the one that Brian got is about $900, and it's a 9-framer.
9-frame radial.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why he bought that. He should have bought an 18.
But the 9-frame, that's pretty much what you have right now, right, Rob?
Yeah, essentially. If I do it, I'm going to go bigger. But I think the 9 is the smallest of their Minimax line. See if you can get into one of the pictures where it shows inside that basket for me. I'm really curious to see what you guys are talking about.
Plastic.
See, to me, it looks more like a plastic material.
Is it like metal encased in
No,
encased in
no.
plastic? It's just straight.
It's not. They don't call it plastic. They call it. I'll say nylon.
I think yeah. Who was it said nylon? Randy said nylon.
But if you're running deep frames, it does not run deeps.
Yeah, all
radially.
of mine are deeps. So
Yeah,
that would be one of my
that's
reasons why I go to the next size.
That's what Brian said. He had to have some kind of fancy these baskets or something to do deeps.
Yeah.
And all.
Let's see. Yeah, this right here. Basically, you drop this little bar in there, and then you set the deeps in, and then
so you got a tangential.
Yeah, but that's a lot of legwork. I would rather just upgrade to the radial because I do all deeps. You know what I mean? To do the 3 in the allotted time, and then flip them 180 degrees and spin them. You know.
Now that 3000, how new is that? From Max Ant? 2 or 3 years old.
2 years. 2 years.
All right, I had the unit that I bought used from a guy. Was an older unit, and you would have to use these. It was designed to use some kind of a metal clip, which never worked. And for the I think the deeps, and then they came out with a better. You have the newer style basket.
Yeah, mine you just set them in there and spin it. You don't have to. You know, they just have everything kind of lined up right where it'll take the 3 of them and spin them.
Yeah, they redesigned. They put some ears on there, and I called up Max Ant about a new basket, and they wanted crazy price. I'm like, forget it.
The reel is nylon rings with stainless steel shafts and connecting rods.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's got a 10-year warranty. He's got listed that the motor, gearbox, controller, and wiring are only 4. The rest of the machine are guaranteed for 10 years.
Yeah, and that's about as good as
Right. Now, and I get the thing about him being a new company, but technically that nylon basket, if we're all reading it right, he's quoting that out for 10 years that he'll cover that.
Yeah.
Supposedly, he says the rest of the machine in the website.
Yeah, and like all them warranties are about as good as the paper's written on.
Yeah. But I have to pick his brain. John Hill's been a pretty stand-up guy every time that I've had.
Wasn't he down there at the corner, on the corner part, right below you at High Life?
He was.
Wasn't he the one that had?
No, he was beside me. You're talking about Dogwood Ridge was in the corner.
Was that the one that had the automatic uncappers?
Yeah, that's Dogwood Ridge. I think it's Dogwood. Yeah, it was. They sold like all licensed stuff, and they sold out like crazy.
I thought Betterby was like the only licensed distributor in the States.
Nope.
For equipment. There's somebody else?
I believe. I could be wrong, but I do believe that Dogwood.
I don't know. I mean, I looked at like
let me look.
What's his name? It just extracted Bruce. I'm like, at his level right now, it's like you need a Silver Queen uncapper. I mean,
he's got an impressive setup down there. I mean, he moves some honey.
Yeah, to me, but I look at the level he's grown to.
Yeah, they're licensed,
and it's like you're thinking the way you were at a smaller scale, and you got to scale your thoughts up at the other end.
I think he uses, if memory serves, I believe he uses a friend's uncapping system, and they like barter back and forth. His honey house.
Yeah, the friends built a honey house, and his friend's got a 30 frame license, and he's got a 20. And I mean, but I'm looking at like a Harmony Farms uncapping thing, and I'm like, really? And I'm like, I mean, the one that Bob Air's got, it's got to be better than that.
Was it Dogwood? What are they called?
Dogwood Ridge, all one word. Dogwood Ridge Bees.
They're out in Illinois or someplace, aren't they?
Yeah. Indiana.
Indiana. Yeah, Indiana.
What's he selling? Is he selling license?
Yeah, he's at least when I hit extract, he's got all kind of bottles, Lyson 4-frame stainless. Granted, that's small, but I'm just kind of scrolling. I'm tabbing through here, but
If
they
you
had the biggest selection of Lyson at the conference. Now I don't know, I don't see too many. Oh yeah, there it is. Automatic uncapper, manual uncapper, 30 frame motorized stainless steel for 2000.
so
Um,
so he's got the Lyson 20 frame for $1,300 over there.
yeah.
He's got the one I've got for $19.99, which is I mean, very little bit more than what I paid for it. Which it might have changed since I bought it earlier in the year, with shipping and everything. So,
And that's another family shop. I've talked to them on the phone a handful of times, and they're wonderful people to deal with.
but if you're spending $900 for a 9-frame extractor and the deep frames are tangential, and you can get a 20 frame that'll run deeps or mediums radially. I mean, for me, my situation, it was a no-brainer to go with the larger machine. So
You're talking $300 difference, Hale
Yep.
says there's $1,200. I mean, it's like I told you about, like buying that 30 frame. The first buy is always the cheapest. And
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you were saying about doing small batches, but
What does it say? Buy once, cry once.
Right. Buy once, cry once.
Cry once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you went, look what you're almost up to 50 some hives, and you're growing right into it.
I got
next year
60. 60.
All right, you got 60 hives, but next year you're going to be pumping some honey out if everything goes well.
Yeah.
Well,
that Lyson 20 frame that they say holds only 8 deeps. Go online and go to YouTube and look for that review, and they'll say that it might only do 8 deeps. Like my 30 frame, the guy that I looked at his video, he says I've absolutely had 30 deep frames in my extractor. Just some of the older frames where the way they manufactured them was a little bit different. That's the only part that he had a problem with.
Well, guys, I got to slide off for the evening. It's been a pleasure talking to you all. I'm sure I'll check in the coming weeks or whatever and see how everything's
Yeah,
going.
we're getting ready to hop off. Lee's about 30 minutes past his bedtime already.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for coming in, Rob.
Yeah, we appreciate
it's been
you.
a blast. It's good talking.
And I'm glad that worked out for you at Blythewood, and hopefully you guys have a long business relationship.
Before you jump off, Rob, do you still have that giveaway stuff that you
I do.
Club?
It's still in my garage. I have it all.
Yeah, that's cool. That's fine. No big, deal.
I think
I got.
Yeah, I definitely have it. I may have extra. I'll remind me.
I got.
You know. It's just sitting. There's no.
Yeah, I just want to give it to those young beekeeper grant recipients.
Yep.
So if we don't give it all away this year, we'll give it next year or whatever.
Yep.
But,
we'll get it going. So.
All right, very good. You got my number. Give me a call if you need anything.
Yes, sir. All right. Have a good night, guys.
All right, good night, Rob.
See you later, Rob.
Yeah. Well, and that we're coming up on 11 o'clock, a little bit past Lee's bedtime. I guess we're probably going to call it here as well. Spanky, I'm glad you joined us, man.
Yeah.
Glad your finger's feeling better.
It still hurts,
but better than it was, right?
Well, it's reattached, so I mean,
that's always a good thing.
So, Spanky, what kind of stuff do you do with your 3D printers and stuff? Anything really interesting?
Well, I do all kinds of stuff. I've been working on a bunch of stuff, but I need to get a website together first.
He makes
these
with my logo in it.
Is that those beehives? That's cool. Now, I like that nuke. I like that better than a 10 framer. But is that something everybody has out here? Because I was at a picnic Sunday, at a bee picnic in Westchester, PA, and some lady had a hot. I really like that.
Got the resource hive.
Yeah, I know. I think that's cool. anyway, they had a 10 framer like Castle Hive was making. And I'm like, she said it was made by such and such a person. I don't know who it was, but they seemed to be somebody, and
Yeah, you're talking about these hives. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Anyway,
find that on Thingiverse.
I was wondering whether that design is public or something where all you guys can
the
use.
one that Castle Hives uses is.
It's a public thing. I see.
Yeah.
No, I just never got into that 3D thing yet.
Yeah, the nukes and everything, I designed all that myself.
Did you?
Yeah.
It looks good.
What I need is someone to design a very sturdy bucket perch that will fit on my 18-gallon licensed bottling tank. So I can set the bucket upside down. Yours won't fit mine. Your perch won't fit on mine, though.
Buy you one, find you a local welder, just cut the tacks off, and then move it in closer to where it ain't so thick right here.
Well, I've got a 2.5-inch wall on my bottling.
I got that new bottling tank, and I know that Max Ant sells that strainer. Of course, you have to buy the one that goes to what size tank you got. You have that, Lee?
No, I didn't buy the strainer for it.
I know they wanted like $300 or $400 for that damn thing.
Well, all of my stuff's already ran through either a 400 or a 200 micron.
I run all my stuff through the $40 strainer set that everybody, for the bucket,
Yeah, I believe
that
it's
pretty much gets everything out. The only thing I've done this year is when I'm pouring into my bottling bucket, I'm still using. It catches, like if the honey is crystallized, it'll catch that crystal. It won't let it go in the other bucket.
Yeah.
And then I happen to have, and I guess what it was those are
hot chilies there.
There was a piece of wood in one of my honey buckets, and I guess it was off of a frame.
I
don't know how it got there, unless it fell off my clothes or something, but it got into the strainer and all that. But I was thinking about maybe buying a strainer for that thing. I'm not sure. But
I don't run one. I just didn't see the need for myself anyway.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I was looking at that thing that Barry had that 5-gallon bucket thing with those two partitions in there that he'll go just thing, and I'm looking at that and I'm thinking to myself, all right, how are you going to clean that thing when it gets choked up?
Well, it looks like the strainers actually lift up out there.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is when you pull your strainer up, well, there goes all your trash. If your bucket's partially full,
True.
I don't know. I mean, I have multiple 5-gallon bucket strainers, and I find out that if I run 2 runs in my extractor, it's time to take that strainer outside after it drains down, hit it with a garden hose, and then dry it down, and then restart again, and that kind of stuff, or swap it out, whatever.
See, like even after mine comes out of my extractor, I run it through a 200 or a 400, then a 200 strainer.
Right.
I put it into my bottling tank. I leave it in there for 1 to 2 days, let it warm up a little bit. Everything gets good and running. Yeah. And I'll actually run it back through the 200 micron again.
I strain it
5-gallon bucket and then pour it back into the bottling tank.
Oh, I strain it through that double strainer, and then into the 5-gallon pail, and then I have another clean 5-gallon pail. That once I take it in before I bottle it, I strain it again.
Well, that's what I've been doing. Is I'll take that 5-gallon bucket that it's been strained, and I'll take the coarse out because I don't need it, and just run the fine, and re-put it into my bottling bucket. Myself. Well, maybe that's what I kind of want to do that with my bottling tank. With the bottling tank, I haven't gotten set up yet as far as filling it. I want to wait till I get all my honey extracted because it's going to be sitting about where my extractor is.
Now, just don't forget when you do fill that bottling tank, you got the double jacketed one. Make sure you put distilled water in it.
Yeah, I got
Don't use regular
I got
water.
9 gallons of distilled water from Walmart for like a buck a gallon.
Keeps it from building up any algae as quick in it. And you know how to have just like that little on the front of it is just a little piece of stainless steel that sticks out that you pour it in.
Yeah,
I take a clean rag after I fill it,
and put
and
it
I
in
put a
there.
rag in there that keeps any dust from getting down in there.
Yeah, I
and
seen that
keeps it
on
from
yours, and I thought that was a good idea.
keeps it from evaporating as
Yeah,
fast.
well, any
too, I think.
bugs or anything else, you know.
Yep.
So
Good job, Doc.
Now, a friend of mine, he said put in vegetable oil or something like that in there. Or, I forget what it was. He's some kind of oil, and I'm like, I don't think so.
I guess it would work, but I wouldn't do it.
So the bucket hole, I don't have a bucket holder for the top, and a 5-gallon bucket will fall down into the bottling tank.
Yep.
But
And
the walls are so thick on there that the perch, like the one that Lee just showed, is too narrow for that the little bottom pieces that are hanging down are too narrow to go over the wall.
Yeah. I mean, they sent me a perch with my bottling tank.
Well, you got the Big Mac Daddy.
I got the next size above what Lee's got.
Yeah, I've only got.
The only reason I got that was because the government said they would pay her half of it.
And mine's in between y'all's two sizes. So,
is that what it is? Okay. Mine's 5 gallons, and his is 16, and yours is what?
18.
18. You're a couple gallons more. All right, it's 11 o'clock, so I guess we better all get out of here. At least I am, anyway. But
all right, so Hail High said stainless steel double bucket strainer from extractor, then through 600 and 400 strainers, then final strain through 5-gallon nylon paint strain. That's basically what I do. I just don't. What I was doing last year is I was doing the same thing, but I was actually putting the paint strainer. Of course, I didn't have my bottling tank, so I was still using the gate valve on a 5-gallon pail. So I would put a paint strainer in that. So anything I poured in before it would go out the gate would have to go through the paint strainer.
well, see, that's what I seen on Bohemia Bees with Jason over there. Is about an hour or so for me. Is he has a 42-gallon. He has the next size above me on the Maxant, but then he has these Maxant strainer on top of that, and then it looks like to me he put in a paint strainer. So he's straining and then like you say, restraining.
Yep, just to get as much out as you can of the wax
Mm-hmm.
part. But you know what? I still find, like today I was bottling, and a few of these 1 pounders that I had near the bottom of the bucket, I still got some particles in it. So that might just be my test bottles when somebody wants to taste it. You know,
I don't know. I mean, the biggest problem I find with bottling buckets and all, they all still have that's I call it scum or whatever, that white froth on top.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
basically peroxide.
Huh?
It's basically peroxide.
Yeah, it's like, you know, or bubbles or whatever and all that stuff. So
All right, guys. Well, tomorrow night is the stream team. Whose channel is it on this week, Lee?
That one I don't know. I believe
Pretty certain it's Greg.
Greg's.
I believe Greg's this week.
Oh, and they're
giveaway.
They're giving away the extractor tomorrow. So Greg's tomorrow, and then Hillbilly Hives Live should be on Earl's this week, I would imagine.
I believe it's so. That'd be Thursday night.
Yep. So there you go. We got the beekeeping lineup for the week.
yeah, I got my club meeting tomorrow night, so I might miss the first part of it.
So quick one, real quick, Charlie. When you getting that new computer?
I don't know. You know, I was like, what me and Lee got on, talked about it last night, and I'm gonna do a little more investigation type of thing with a friend of mine who's a geeky. I mean, I used to be a computer geek and I used to knew all that stuff, but I've been out of it for so long that you know, things have just changed dramatically. And after I looked at all them connections you were going over with me, and it's a huge difference in in computer gear there, you know, as far as speed and connections and all that stuff. So
James, I hope you do win, buddy. I hope it's one of our viewers that win. That'd be awesome. That'd be great.
Yeah, I don't. I put my hat in the circle. I don't really need it. So
I don't really need it either.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and yeah, Dennis came up and I was selling honey to a lady, had pulled up, and then we had a swarm. Then he caught the queen out of midair. So yeah, we had an eventful day. I think it's his fault. Had he not showed up, probably
So
wouldn't have swarmed.
Dennis works at the sugar plant.
No, Dennis lives in South Carolina, but up near Charlotte.
Yeah.
And he some of the guys in his club get it from up there. So he brought me 2 buckets. I didn't know he was bringing it. He just brought it, and I was like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah, because Domino Sugar here, the factory's here in Baltimore. But do you think you could go there to get anything? No.
He said they go up there and they pump it. They pump it out of the tank that they use the tankers for the tankers. So
I don't know. Of course, it's in Baltimore. I don't think I'm going to go down there anyway. But I don't know.
Buy a smaller bottling tank so the 5-gallon bucket fits. Well, my bottling tank fits wherever I set it at. So if the hardest part is lifting those 5-gallon pails to dump them in and wait for them to run out.
Yep.
I got a bungee strap on one of the handles so the bucket don't fall in while it was running out.
Well, what I did for a while, I poured my 5-gallon bucket in, and when the handle fell over the side, I had a long wooden spoon I would stick between the handle and the bottling tank, and it would rest up against the bucket and hold itself up.
You know what? I'm not a rocket scientist, but I bet you if I was making a bottling tank, that would be something I would think about. Well, how are these people putting this stuff in here? Oh, they're going to use 5-gallon buckets? Well, maybe we need to figure out a way that a 5-gallon bucket would actually fit on here without falling in.
Oh, they just want to say you a pump.
Yeah. Oh, that ain't happening. That'll be a long time before I pull that trigger.
Them pumps ain't cheap.
No, the cheapest one I saw was like $1,200. The cheapest one.
Well, that was like what's his name? Mr. Ed. He bought a gear pump, and I talked to a friend of mine who's been in the honey business for years, and I said, well, Mr. Ed, his gear pump, just shut down because of all the wax in there. He said, yeah. He said, that's only for clean liquid. He said, you have to have a load pump in order to pump trash along with your liquid and stuff.
Well, those things.
I like the pump that he has, though.
Yeah, that one it's called a load pump, and I think that thing's like a couple grand.
Yeah, that's crazy. Obviously he's got some church backing for his endeavor, right? So
I guess. I told him about a year or two ago, he was buying that Dakota uncapper, and then he had to have it was a slurry tank or whatever they call them things, that float tanks, which didn't work. And then he bought a Man Lake wax separator.
They could have bought the whole Lyson mini line for about $33,000.
That's what I told him. I said, Mr. Ed, trade all that crap in and get yourself either a license or a small Cowan. Makes a small unit.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't nothing cheap, but you could, to make a complete line.
For $39,000, you can get the whole line with the extractor and the corkscrew extruder for the wax, all that stuff.
I'm not sure whether that would be. I know Stepler got that thing, and I'm not really sure whether that really works well.
Which bottling tank do you have?
Who, Charlie?
No, you.
Or me? Oh, I've got the Lyson 18-gallon.
The Lyson one?
Yeah.
The heated one or just the normal one?
No, it's heated.
No, you want it heated, Spanky.
No, I think he's trying to look for the dimensions for a bucket perch, I think.
Oh.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out which one it is. They got multiple on here.
Lee, you got that pulled up? That's
which one you got? The 18-gallon?
The 18-gallon electric. The 110 version. Let me see.
Yeah, I just use a 5-gallon bucket.
Well, I was, but the problem is I would have to pour from a 5-gallon bucket into a 5-gallon bucket to use the leaky plastic valve that was on the front of it.
I mean,
So
that's what I'm doing right now, Spanky. I got a 5-gallon bucket with a, the leaky valve on the bottom.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you that pneumatic, other than the air compressor sound, the pneumatic tank, that's the exact one I got right there. That pneumatic valve, I love it. I'm now that I know how to use it appropriately, that thing's amazing.
So, I mean, when it comes to, I don't know, when you got a 16 or more buckets of honey there, and over a period of time they start to crystallize, and it took me a bit, it took me 10 years or more in order to finally figure out that why people spend that kind of money for bottling tanks. And it's like Behumia Bees, Jason. He's got that 42-gallon over there, and I say, Jason, why is it so big? And he says he tries to pour all his honey in there, keep it all in there, and then it never crystallizes. It's ready to go at all times.
Right.
And of course, he's selling year round, and I do too. I sold. Lady come in here this morning. She bought 2 3-pounders. Another guy bought a bear, and it's you like Bob there. You're it's piecemeal, but it's money coming in.
Yeah.
It all adds up.
It all adds up, and it'll pay for that equipment that you bought. And that's what a lot of folks. They say, oh, it's
honey money from today.
Yeah, it's just like, well, all right, let's say extractor. All right, you got extractor, it costs you $1,200.
Lee's got a stack of cash on his for money too.
It's $1,200. But if you're selling honey at $10 a pound, and all you got to do is sell 100 pounds, that's $1,000 right there.
Right, that paid for the bottling tank.
That's 100 pounds. You're talking 2 hives of honey. If you got a good year, you figure 50 pounds per hive. You got 2 hives out of 10 or 12, let's say, on an average person.
Right.
That, 2 hives just paid for your equipment. It's just, you can get your money back out of it, and you can actually, you're not going to be in the hole.
Yeah, just take that money and reinvest into
you're reinvesting
what
you're reinvesting what you take your honey money and buy, and that's one thing that I always what was that? That I'll see you. Is that I always need a new background, Charlie. Yeah, well, all right. I'll switch it around. So that's where I all right, I'll get something next time. What is that? Drill holes in the bottom of the bucket.
And hang it from the rafters over your bottling tank.
Yeah, that would be an idea. But what I was getting at is I'm always, if I got to do a job and I got to work, and this is any kind of things that I do, it's like, okay, how can I make it easy? We all have to work to make a living, but we don't have to work ourselves to the point where we're going to break our backs or whatever. So, invest in yourself by buying something that's going to help you do the work.
Well, if you look at just the extractor, so I went from an 8 medium, 4 deep extractor, very similar to the one that we were looking at from them guys, right? So from Hilco. But the thing is, that's not even a full box per spin. Now I can do 3 boxes every time I fire the extractor up at a time.
Right.
So the time saved is, enormous.
Yeah.
Because I can extract six boxes like in no time. Let me see. Yeah, and there's a lady, she said she's going to have her friends come get some honey too. So we'll see how it goes. I mean,
It takes you, let's say, 4 or 5 years in any business to build your business up. And once they know that you've got honey for sale, and once they know you, let's say, if you're in the nuke business or the queen business, you'll have, repeat customers, and your word gets out. You don't have to advertise that much.
Mm-hmm. Word of mouth to me, I mean, is better than actually paying for advertisement.
Well, the only advertisement, if you belong to a bee club or something like that, and they have an email list or a newsletter, you can kind of put your information out there that way also.
Yeah.
Which usually doesn't cost you anything, except for.
Right.
See what I wrote you, Bob?
Huh? What's that?
Why
I
don't
was
I take
asking
food
if you
grade?
saw.
Let me see. And place it on top of the bottle tank with a hole for the bucket to drain into the tank. Yeah, I could, but right now the way I have it set up is I actually have my bottling stuff is set up in my kitchen. My extractor and everything's outside. So, or in my
Honey
shed.
house.
Yeah, my shed, my porch, honey house. But yeah, I mean I could, but I know, and they probably make one better. License probably got one that you could buy. Who knows how much they are? I don't at this time, but it's just all about being, I guess, more efficient, right? You can set the bucket up there and let it drain by itself, and
You get something else done.
yep.
Now on that extractor that you got, does that thing have a? I understand it spins for 15 minutes automatically, and that's it. It shuts down. Or do you?
Yeah, it's a 15-minute cycle, but you don't have to let it run for 15 minutes. I mean, you can shut it off at any time. I mean,
it goes to a maximum of 15, or does it go longer?
15 minutes. And when I ran it for 15 minutes, there was nothing in the frames. I mean, nothing that I could use, but the bees cleaned it up, afterwards. But
I mean, I spin that 18 frame of mine, and I'll put a light on top of that plastic to shine down there to see what. And if it's just kind of spitting little droplets out at the end, then I know I got everything I possibly can get out of it.
But I don't have to flip any frames. I don't have to pull anything back out. None of that.
I mean, I've heard people commenting. I said, I'll spin for 15 or 20 minutes. Depends. I'll start out slow, like.
See, with the license, I can turn it all the way up to 10, the highest speed setting, and it ramps itself up slowly to the maximum speed.
Well, does it start dancing about that time?
I found that when I had it on the, I thought in my infinite wisdom I'd put it back on its pallet, but the pallet was really kind of unlevel. When I took it off the pallet for this last run I did, it didn't move.
Mm-hmm.
So it worked fine. But when it was on the pallet, it kind of tried to dance around a little bit.
Mine will a little bit. I mean, if you got some heavy frames on one side, if you don't balance your frames right, it'll get a little dance to it.
And see, that's the other thing, because I was also using some deeps and some mediums. If I was running all mediums, it would probably be all consistent, right? So.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what I do. I try to balance it out by holding the frames and kind of putting them throughout the quadrant, the crossbars where I put them in different areas. Yeah, it works out well.
You see, Hale giving me shade here.
Yeah, I see.
You know why? Because you guys don't want to support my channel. That's what it is. I get paid when you watch through my channel, but nobody wants to watch over there.
We're actually even right now. Well, there's one difference.
Well, I'm watching my channel, so that means there's actually probably two different.
I'm watching your channel.
So that's the funny part.
But I got pulled mine up, so I don't know if it counts on the studio side or not.
But see, this could be tomorrow night, and people will be just like making it rain all over the stream team. But they'll watch 3 hours of our stream. And Earl sent me $5, early before he signed out, which I appreciate, Earl. If you go back and watch this tomorrow, I'm not throwing shade on you, but I mean, people just make it rain all over the stream team for some ungodly reason.
You got to make sure they know that you're putting that money into giveaways.
Hell, we've given away more stuff than any other beekeeping channel that I know of.
For free.
Every week for the last 10 weeks, we've given stuff away, and we've given stuff outside of the free stuff from Blythewood. We've given away
For free.
I have tools.
for free. I did a sign last week for Flower Street Farm. Is there a $1.50 super? There's probably a $1.50 super sticker.
I don't know. I mean, I sit there and watch the stream team, and
I watch them.
I do. I don't get a well. It's like I say, I like this channel because I can come on and talk, and anybody else can come on. And you don't have to be invited on, and and all that. And we talk about
everything
and anything, which I like.
And we answer a lot of questions. I think
we answer questions. I mean, if I'm here or you guys, whoever, and that kind of stuff. And we're all kind of like, what would you call it?
A community.
We're a community, and we're all about the same level, more or less, you might say. I mean, we're all backyard beekeepers for the most part,
right?
And I mean, at least that's the way I mean, Bob, you got 60 hives, yeah. You can call
the majority of them's in his backyard.
Yeah,
so
they are my side yard.
all my other ones are on the side in the backyard or back behind the barn.
But you know what? The 3 that I gave the brood bomb to in the other apiary, they're going to have to level up. I'm going to have to drop a second box on the 1.5 frame and have to probably graduate the 2 5/5s to a 10 framer.
Yeah.
No, I mean, they're doing good.
Frame team, I don't know. Some nights I don't see what. I guess I don't hear any benefits for me personally. I guess as far as they're talking about questions and stuff like that, like the video questions, and I'm like, yeah, okay, well.
I thought it was a pretty decent little idea, though, just as far as bringing something different into the stream.
Yeah,
it is. It is. My thing is, I don't have time to do videos for my own channel, so to put one up for a question for me at this point isn't all the time.
I mean, I don't have any questions, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I'm not saying I know everything, but
usually I think of my question the next day.
Yeah, but it's like all right, like Greg Burns. Now he's more of a nuke guy. He'll have hundreds of nukes.
Right.
And I would have more questions to him, like, okay, let me see your operation. Let me see what you're doing. And let me see your techniques on how you're multiplying and doing different things like that. That's more, I want to see what he's doing, type of thing.
Right.
And Brian's just your normal backyard beekeeper. I mean, I watched his video today, and I like Brian. It's like, Brian, get rid of the stupid 5-gallon uncapping tank. Get yourself a regular uncapping tank. I mean, I did that same thing he did. I have the comb uncapper, which I still use. And it's like, I bought that Hive Butler last year. And because of, I have to use that comb capper, like I say in my videos, because of my plastic frames. And that's why I bought the Hive Butler. And but in general, an uncapping tank, the size I've got, or like what Man Lake sells with a double thing, keeping everything separated, the honey draining out, you'll recover enough honey out of your cappings to pay for that thing.
Well, there's a lot more honey in the cappings than you really realize until you start working with them.
That's right. I mean, I try to use paint bags, strainers, and then, of course, they would slip down into the honey, and what a mess. And shoot, I got 2.5 inches of honey in that bottom or uncapping tank right now. There's got to be 20 pounds of honey in there.
I didn't realize that till I got my tank.
Yeah, there's $200 sitting in there. I mean, it's worth the money.
Yeah, I mean that 1,500 uncapping tank that we've got is what, $900, 900 something bucks.
Well, I bought the Butler. I think it was $150, something like that.
Hale Hive said he got 26 pounds out of his uncapping tank.
There you go. It's probably
That's
a big stainless. Is that Hale? Is that stainless? One of the big stainless steel jobs? Probably is. But I mean, there's $260 right there that you reclaimed out of those cappings.
Oh, he uses a Hive Butler as well.
As a Hive Butler, okay, you like what I got, and there you go. There's 200. There's enough. Yeah,
that's the one that we got.
Is that what you got?
Yep.
Yeah, me and Bob both got the same tank.
Hey, I like that. Looks good.
And it's got a stainless cover to set on it when you're not using it. So,
well, see, that was another thing. I wrote a comment on Brian saying, while you're upgrading and making the honey flow, get yourself a Hive Butler or whatever. But that was another thing that what I used to use. It was a chair. Put my 5-gallon bucket on there, and of course, the bucket's sitting there on an angle.
Right.
Well, then that honey would go across that Coleman capper, and then it would drip down on the outside and make a mess. And I had the chair covered up with rosin paper and all this stuff. What a mess! And then you're trying to keep bugs and crap and dust out of your honey in that bucket. And now I got this Hive Butler, and you got that lid. And you just, once you get you're done, you're tired, I just kind of wipe the edges down where the lid goes on, snap the lid on. I'm done for the night. I don't have to worry about anything. And then that stuff will sit in that Hive Butler for about a week, and it'll drain out, And then I go in there with my hands and kind of turn that cappings up to help it drain better.
That's what I'll do with my uncapping tank, because on the inside it has 2 stainless steel removable trays. So when the cappings come off, it falls in the trays and then goes through the holes to drain out.
Right.
And I'll go back in there and just kind of stir them up.
Stir it up.
If I'm done for the day, I'll just put the lid over the top of it.
Yeah, it was all right. Maybe it was 185. I don't know. I called Tracy up and got it whenever it was. It was either on sale or something. I guess it might have been 185 because I bought that's what I use.
What lid do you use?
Well, that day I have a regular. I just made my own. I made a 5-gallon bucket, drilled the hole in it, and put the gate in there, and I was done.
These gamma lids screw on.
Yeah, that's nice. They're nice.
You don't have to try to peel it off with honey stuff.
Right. But I bought the vented lid, and I bought the. Of course, it came with the solid lid, and but it was well worth the money as far as I'm concerned. Best thing I ever bought. And now I got this bottling tank. I'm sure that's going to be wonderful, and it'll save. Because I have a hot box in my basement, so I got to go up and down a staircase carrying 50 pounds of honey, which tears my shoulders up. And if I got my tank on the back porch on a scissors lift. That might be something that you want to do, Bob. Get yourself a scissor lift from Harbor Freight like I did. Get yourself, I paid $400 for mine, which is 1,000 pounds capacity. And
right.
I think it was $400. I'm not sure. But anyway, a little pricey for Harbor Freight. And I can, and Jason out there at Bohemia Bees got the same thing. Drop it down, stand there, pour your bucket, it's at waist level. And then when you get done and put your lid on, then when you're ready to bottle, you can you just pump it up with your foot and bottle. And then with something like that, once I'm done bottling, I let it go down and not take the pressure off the piston.
All right, guys. Well, we've gone 30 more minutes.
Kenny there, he's got a Hive Butler. Yeah, they're a great little outfit, I think. And I wouldn't store my frames in them. I just use it for the uncapping thing.
Yeah.
But and it's easy to clean. So, all right.
All right, guys.
Catch y'all later.
Everybody have a good night. Thank y'all for coming in.
And we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.